Chapter 1809. After venting, Wu Zhenju's entire body felt much more comfortable, and her body also relaxed. Wu Zhenju heaved a sigh of relief. After he was done, he got up from the latrine, fastened his pants, and walked out of the latrine. As he walked, Wu Zhenju suddenly felt that something was wrong. He seemed to have stepped on something sticky. It would have been better if he didn't look, but when he did, he was almost disgusted. Because what he saw when he lowered his head was none other than a disgusting pile of poop. The poop was still wet. It was obvious that he had just pooped not long ago. Wu Zhenju clutched his chest and almost vomited. He hurriedly rubbed his feet on the grass a few times, and only stopped when it was almost clean. He couldn't help but curse. What kind of person is this? Who is so disgusting to poop here? Why didn't he use the latrine when there was a latrine? Did he purposely let someone step on it? After he was done cursing, Wu Zhenju's eyes darted around. He thought that no one would do such a disgusting thing. Normal people would definitely go to the latrine, except for abnormal people. He suddenly realized that Qin Chuan, that idiot, had just pooped. It seemed like it could only be him. At the thought of this, Wu Zhenju felt like he couldn't vent his anger. She already disliked the family Qin people, and now that they had made her feel disgusted, she couldn't wait to teach them a lesson. Wu Zhenju couldn't suppress the anger in his heart. He angrily ran towards Zhao Yun's house. The moment he saw Qin Chuan, he went up to him and spat at him. When the family Qin people saw this situation, they couldn't remain calm. They had already tolerated the Liang family enough, but they couldn't bully them to this extent, right? What are you doing? Mu Chunfang only asked coldly. He didn't have a good attitude towards Wu Zhenju either. Qin Dahai went up to Wu Zhenju and complained, "Sister, what are you doing?" "I'm just fine. How did I offend you?" Wu Zhenju continued to spit and scolded like a shrew. "What have you done?" Could it be that he was still unclear in his heart? "Do I have to mention it?" Qin Dahai's face darkened. "What have we done? Why don't you just tell me? It's not like you've killed or set a fire. Is there a need to be so rash?" Wu Zhenju put his hands on his waist, pointed at the family Qin, and scolded, "Your whole family is shameless, always doing shameful things. Don't use a fool as a shield. Could it be that a fool doesn't know how to poop in a latrine? I really had to hand it to him. He just found a random place to poop and settled it. How can you be so vulgar?" Hearing Wu Zhenju's scolding, the family Qin members immediately understood what Wu Zhenju was referring to, and their faces turned red. Although Mu Chunfang was a little embarrassed, he still said stubbornly, "So what? Our Chuan didn't do it on purpose. He couldn't hold it in halfway, so he pooped. This matter doesn't affect you, so why are you so angry at us?" Qin Dahai agreed. "That's right. This is our matter. What right do you have to tell us what to do? Isn't it a little too much to treat us like this?" Wu Zhenju's face darkened as he said to Mu Chunfang and Qin Dahai, "It's indeed none of my business where you poop, but you should choose a better place to poop, right? If you poop on the way to the latrine, won't people step on it if they don't pay attention? Aren't you afraid of disgusting people to death?" Chapter 1810. The Qin couple looked down and saw that Wu Zhenju's feet were indeed stained with some feces. There was still some feces on his feet that had not been wiped clean. They immediately blushed with guilt. Wu Zhenju did not let them off and continued to scold, "What kind of family are you? You're not presentable, yet you still dare to come out and embarrass yourselves." Qin Dahai was embarrassed. Even so, he could not say that about their family, right? What right did Qin Chuan have to scold their entire family for what he did? Mu Chunfang was originally holding back, but when he saw that Wu Zhenju's scolding was getting more and more vicious, he gritted his teeth in anger and scolded back, "Our Chuan did not do it on purpose. Who asked you to be careless? What a waste of your eyes. I think you're more like blind." Wu Zhenju was so angry that his body trembled. "Who are you calling blind? Who else could I be scolding? Of course it's you." Mu Chunfang also spat on the ground. "All right, who do you think you are? How dare you scold me? See if I don't come over and teach you a lesson. Wu Zhenju rolled up his sleeves and looked like he was about to fight. Mu Chunfang was also angry and retorted indignantly. All right, come on. Whoever admits defeat first today is a beast. The commotion caused by the two families woke up Zhao Yun, who was sleeping in the room. Zhao Yun, rubbed her sleepy eyes. She felt much better after sleeping for 2 hours, but her head was still groggy. Zhao Yun, frowned when she heard the commotion. Every one of them was troublesome. She was afraid that they wanted to cause a ruckus in her house. Yun, do you want to sleep for a while more? Mu Lianfeng whispered into Zhao Yun's ear. Zhao Yun shook her head. There's so much noise outside. How can I sleep? Mu Lianfeng sighed slightly. He had a headache dealing with Zhao Yun's extreme relatives. Thinking of what Liang Xingyue had done to him today, Mu Lianfeng still felt very uncomfortable in his heart. He did not intend to tell Zhao Yun about this matter. He was afraid that it would make Zhao Yun unhappy. As long as he knew in his heart that he could not have any thoughts about other women, no one could replace Zhao Yun in his heart. It's better if we don't interact with these relatives in the future. Mu Lianfeng muttered. Zhao Yun nodded. If she could walk less, she naturally didn't want to have any contact with these weirdos. Zhao Yun tidied up and walked out of the house. When she saw Wu Zhenju and the family Qin people fighting, Zhao Yun raised the cup on the table and smashed it at the feet of Wu Zhenju and the Qin couple. Then, she warned them in a cold voice. All of you, get out of here. Don't forget that this is my house. Wu Zhenju and the Qin couple were shocked. They subconsciously jumped away when the cup fell to the ground. Wu Zhenju patted her chest in shock. If she hadn't jumped in time just now, the cup would have smashed directly on her body. They looked at Zhao Yun in fear. Zhao Yun's eyes were cold. Before they could speak, Zhao Yun repeated, "It's getting late. The banquet is over, and the sun is setting. I think you should go back." This was a direct gesture to chase them away. Zhao Yun thought that the house would be quieter after these people left. Chapter 18:11. The Qin couple pursed their lips. That Yun, Ping, and Yuan haven't come back yet. We have to wait for her to come back before we go back together. Zhao Yun replied angrily, "That's your business. You can go out and wait. My house can't accommodate these big Buddhas." Her attitude was very obvious. There was no room for discussion. They had to leave now. The Qin couple looked at each other. They originally wanted to talk to Zhao Yun nicely. Zhao Yun shouldn't be too difficult. Now, seeing Zhao Yun's attitude, they knew that Zhao Yun wouldn't agree no matter what they said. The Liang family was even more embarrassed. Liang Jinshun stood up and said, Okay. It's almost time. Let's go back." With Liang Jinshun's words, the others followed suit. It was indeed not early. Even if they didn't want to go back, they couldn't stay at Zhao Yun's house for long. There was no point in wasting time. They couldn't stay at Zhao Yun's house for the night. That, husband, about mother. Guocaixia pointed at old Madame Liang. They had discussed before and arranged for old Madame Yang to stay at Zhao Yun's house for a period of time. Liang Jinshun glanced at old Madame Yang and then discussed with Zhao Yun, can your grandmother stay at your house for a period of time? It's very hot in our thatched hut. At night, the mosquitoes are very noisy. Your grandmother can't sleep well every night. She can't lift her spirits. She said that she felt much better after sleeping at your house last night. So we, as her children, think that if your grandmother stays at your house for a period of time, her health may be much better. When summer is over, we will take your grandmother back. She won't stay here forever." Zhao Yun heard Liang Jinshun's words and glanced at old Madame Liang. Old Madame Liang lowered her head and looked a little lonely. How could she not know that her uncles and aunts only felt that her grandmother was a burden? Now, they wanted to abandon her family as much as possible. Zhao Yun'er thought for a while. If old Madame Liang was a troublemaker, she naturally wouldn't stay. But after meeting her several times, she felt that old Madame Liang was an amiable old lady. She was good to her. After thinking for a moment, Zhao Yun'er agreed, "All right then, Grandma will stay at my house for a while." Wu Zhenju and Guo Caixia both heaved a sigh of relief, as if they had just gotten rid of a burden. These people's reactions naturally fell into Zhao Yun'er's eyes. Zhao Yun'er secretly sighed. They were all unfilial people. Their parents worked hard to raise them, but when they were old, they didn't know how to treat them well. Old Madame Liang looked at Zhao Yun'er with a touch of guilt in her eyes. After all, she might disturb Zhao Yun'er's family in the coming days. Zhao Yun'er didn't think much of it. One more person was just one more mouth to feed. There were so many people at home who could help with the trivial matters on a daily basis. Liang Jinshun smiled and said, "That's good. Yun'er girl, then we'll go back first." "Okay." Seeing that the weirdo was about to leave, the cold light in Zhao Yun'er's eyes receded. Seeing that the Liang family was about to leave, the family Qin people suddenly became anxious. They wanted to delay and not leave, but when the others left, they didn't have the intention to stay. Chapter 18:12. The Qin couple's face revealed a trace of embarrassment. They smiled embarrassedly and said, "Little Yun'er, just let us wait a little longer. Although the sun is setting outside, it's still very hot. Also, it's easy for our legs to hurt if we stand up. We're already so old, how can we withstand the torment?" Zhao Yun'er replied without any trace of politeness, "What does that have to do with me?" The Qin couple did not expect Zhao Yun'er to be so direct and rude. She was even a little vulgar. Seeing that Zhao Yun'er's expression was not good and her words were unpleasant, Mu Chunfang silently scolded Zhao Yun'er a few times in his heart. "In any case, we're in-laws. You can't be so ruthless. It's really bad luck to have to deal with this kind of person." Mu Chunfang could not help but mutter. Qin Dahai hurriedly poked Mu Chunfang's arm, indicating that Mu Chunfang should stop talking. It would not be good if Zhao Yun'er heard it. However, Zhao Yun'er could not be bothered with these people. Instead, she said lightly, "I'll count to 3. If you don't leave, then don't blame me for being rude." The Qin couple did not seem to care about Zhao Yun'er's threat. They wanted to continue staying and not leave. Zhao Yun'er directly called out to Little Hay outside. "Little Hay, come here." Little Hay was originally lying under the shade of a tree. The weather was very hot and he was covered in fur. He felt even more uncomfortable than a human. He stuck out his tongue and kept sticking it out. When he heard Zhao Yun'er's call, Little Hay quivered. He immediately got up from the ground and ran into the house. At first, the Qin couple did not know why Zhao Yun'er called a dog into the house. When Little Hay came in, the Qin couple finally understood what Zhao Yun'er was planning to do. She was afraid that they would continue to stay and not leave, so she let the dog chase them away. "Little Hay, I'll leave these people to you." Xiao Hay understood what Zhao Yun meant. It bared its fangs and barked at the Qin couple. It looked like it was going to pounce on them and bite them. The Qin couple was shocked, while Qin Chuan was so scared that he hid behind them and almost cried. If this continued, their family would be bitten by dogs. Hence, the Qin couple pulled Qin Chuan along and ran out of Zhao Yun'er's house. Seeing them slip away so quickly, Zhao Yun'er's lips curled into a mocking smile. She really refused a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Previously, he had spoken nicely and ignored her, but now she had to escape in such a sorry state. Perhaps some people were masochistic in nature. After the Liang family and the rest of the family left, the hall of Zhao Yun'er's house became empty, and the house became much quieter. Outside the house, Liang Jinyu had already helped Zhao Yun'er prepare the bowls and chopsticks. The kitchen was also tidied up. Now that the sun had set and the family Qin people had gone back, Liang Jinyu bid farewell to Zhao Yun'er's family. "Mother, big sister, it's getting late. I'll go back too. Wait, Auntie. Zhao Yun'er called out to Liang Jinyu. Yun'er, what's wrong? Auntie, there are a lot of leftovers from my family's banquet. Take some back. Liang Jinyu hurriedly waved her hand. Yun'er, I can't. Chapter 18:13. Liang Jinxiao chimed in, little sister, Yun'er is right. You should at least bring some back for brother-in-law and the children to try. Liang Jinyu frowned and seemed to be in a dilemma. For so many years, she was not used to taking advantage of others, so she generally did not accept gifts from relatives. Zhao Yun'er knew Liang Jinyu's temperament and said, little aunt, actually, if you don't take it, my family won't be able to finish it. In this weather, leftovers can't be kept for long and will easily go bad. After listening to Zhao Yun'er's words, Liang Jinyu thought for a moment. Just now, when she helped Zhao Yun clean up the house, she saw that there were indeed a lot of leftovers in the kitchen. Zhao Yun'er's family did not have many people. Even if she gave some to other relatives, it would probably take 2 or 3 days to finish it. In this weather, how could leftovers be kept for 2 or 3 days? After one night, they would probably go bad. If she refused to accept it, then wouldn't the leftovers in Zhao Yun'er's house go to waste? Liang Jinyu thought for a moment and finally nodded. Okay, Yun'er, make some for me. Okay. Zhao Yun'er's mouth curved into a satisfied smile. Fortunately, Liang Jinyu was enlightened, so she did not have to waste her words to persuade her. After entering the kitchen, Zhao Yun'er picked some more meat. She knew that people in the countryside generally like to eat meat, so she could make those vegetarian dishes at home. Now that Liang Jinyu's family planted a lot of land and did a lot of work, children and adults should eat more meat. With enough oil, they would be able to work hard. However, Liang Jinyu was really poor. It was good enough that the family could eat enough. They could only eat meat during festivals. When Zhao Yun came out with a big bag of meat, Liang Jinyu could not help but sigh. Yun'er, you've made too much, right? Not much. I still have a lot left at home. It's a waste if we can't finish it. Auntie, if you bring more back, you'll definitely be able to finish it. Zhao Yun'er was right. Liang Jinyu had a lot of children. She could probably finish a few bowls of meat by herself. There was no reason for her to not be able to finish it. Liang Jinyu smiled embarrassedly. All right then, Yun'er girl, I won't be polite with you. Then I'll accept it. Yeah. Liang Jinyu did not stay any longer and hurried back to the village. There was still a long way to go between the two villages. If they went back too late, Liang Jinyu would probably have to wait until the sky turned dark. On the other hand, Li Chuiying also got up and prepared to go back. Zhao Yun'er thought that besides her and Liang Jinxiao, Li Chuiying had done the most work and was the most tired. There were so many leftovers at home. Zhao Yun'er also packed some food for Li Chuiying so that Li Chuiying could take it back, so that Li Chuiying would not have to go through the trouble of preparing dinner. At first, Li Chuiying refused like Liang Jinyu, but after being persuaded by Zhao Yun'er, he obediently accepted the leftovers from Zhao Yun'er. Now, Li Chuiying knew how to be grateful. After accepting Zhao Yun'er's things, he thought that in the future, when Zhao Yun'er's family had work to do, he should come over to help. He could not take advantage of her. Zhao Yun'er rested for a while, and dusk gradually fell. Today's excitement passed very quickly. The big house was not as lively as it was during the day, but she could have a good sleep at night. Chapter 18:14. For dinner, Zhao Yun'er's family heated up some leftovers and made do with it. Zhao Yun'er put the leftovers in the simple fridge. With ice cubes, the leftovers naturally wouldn't spoil easily. She could take them out when she wanted to eat them later. After dinner, Zhao Yun'er boiled a large pot of hot water and prepared to take a good bath. Although the weather was very hot, a hot bath would still make the body feel much more comfortable. After boiling the water, Mu Lianfeng helped Zhao Yun carry the water into the room. Yun, let me help you bathe. Mu Lianfeng asked, his eyes flashing with a hint of calculation. Zhao Yun's face suddenly turned red, thinking that she was hallucinating. Did Mu Lianfeng say that? You're helping me bathe? Zhao Yun asked weakly, confirming that it wasn't Mu Lianfeng who said that. That's right. Mu Lianfeng nodded. Zhao Yun swallowed her saliva, her ears turning even redder. Mu Lianfeng explained, Yun you're very tired today. Take a bath later, and I'll help you massage. Your tiredness will definitely subside, and you won't be so tired anymore. Zhao Yun hesitated and said embarrassedly, There's no need. Then wouldn't I be seen naked by you? She felt very shy just thinking about it. When she and Mu Lianfeng did that kind of thing, they always did it at night, when it was so dark that they couldn't see each other's bodies clearly. If she were to be seen naked by Mu Lianfeng, just thinking about it would make her blush and her heart beat faster. Mu Lianfeng's eyebrows were raised, and there was a hint of mockery in his eyes. He moved closer to Zhao Yun and gently blew into her ear. Yun, which part of your body haven't I seen before? Zhao Yun did not expect Mu Lianfeng to become so lecherous and shameless. Her face turned even redder. She had never imagined what Mu Lianfeng would look like when he turned into a hooligan. Now, she finally saw it for herself. He was supposed to be a cold and aloof Prince Charming. Why didn't he work in front of her? When Mu Lianfeng saw Zhao Yun's shyness, he continued to smile and said, Yun, now that we are husband and wife, we will officially become husband and wife after the wedding. You don't have to be shy in front of me, right? Zhao Yun was so embarrassed that she did not want to talk to Mu Lianfeng. A pervert was a pervert. Why would he talk about such nonsense? Originally, Zhao Yun wanted to refuse, but Mu Lianfeng did not give her a chance to escape. He stayed in the room and did not leave. Zhao Yun could only glare at Mu Lianfeng. Under Mu Lianfeng's scorching gaze, she slowly unbuttoned her clothes. Fortunately, there was only one candle in the room, so the light was not very bright. After changing her clothes, Zhao Yun quickly got into the wooden tub and began to soak in it. Her hiding place was just right to be covered by the water. This way, she would not be so shy in front of Mu Lianfeng. Mu Lianfeng walked to the side of the wooden tub and took a towel to help Zhao Yun wipe her body. Zhao Yun was embarrassed at first, but then she found that Mu Lianfeng was helping her wash. She did not need to do anything and felt quite comfortable. Leaning against the edge of the wooden tub, Zhao Yun closed her eyes and lay down with a look of enjoyment. As Mu Lianfeng washed, he helped Zhao Yun rub her shoulders and back. His technique was very skillful. It seemed that he had done this many times. Mu Lianfeng's hands moved forward mischievously and grabbed the two soft lumps in front of Zhao Yun. Chapter 18:15. However, Mu Lianfeng had no intention of stopping and continued to move his hands. Zhao Yun felt that Mu Lianfeng was really going overboard this time. She didn't say anything, but he still didn't withdraw his hands. Pervert, what a big pervert. Zhao Yun cursed in her heart. On the surface, he looked well-dressed, but on the inside, he was worse than a beast. What happened to being a proper man? Where did he go now? Zhao Yun blushed and said to Mu Lianfeng, You, shameless. Let go of me. However, Mu Lianfeng murmured softly, Yun, this thing is so comfortable. It's so soft to the touch. It feels so good. Zhao Yun, damn it, how could it not be comfortable? Two soft lumps of flesh, of course it would feel good to the touch. However, under normal circumstances, who would let someone else touch them? Even if it was between husband and wife, they would feel embarrassed. Pervert. Zhao Yun couldn't help but complain. However, Mu Lianfeng smiled and said shamelessly, Yun, I'm only perverted to you. You're the only one I'm perverted to. So she had to be grateful to him. How shameless. Zhao Yun tried to struggle and escape from Mu Lianfeng's claws. However, to Zhao Yun's disappointment, Mu Lianfeng's claws followed her like a shadow and grabbed her two lumps. He even murmured softly in her ear, Yun, don't move. Let me continue to massage. More massages will help you grow. Zhao Yun, how could this guy find such a high-sounding reason for everything he did? So he was saying that she was too small? You. When did you become so shameless? Zhao Yun, scolded angrily. However, Mu Lianfeng didn't get angry. Instead, he smiled and said, so what if I'm shameless to my own wife? She was actually speechless. However, after Mu Lianfeng massaged her for a while, he continued to help her bathe and massage other parts of her body. Zhao Yun's body felt much more comfortable. However, after helping Zhao Yun bathe, Mu Lianfeng became restless. Facing the naked Zhao Yun a certain desire in his heart. Mu Lianfeng's throat moved, and he swallowed a mouthful of saliva into his stomach. He moved closer to Zhao Yun's ear and whispered, Yun, I want you. After soaking in the hot water for so long, Zhao Yun's body was already hot enough. When Mu Lianfeng said this, Zhao Yun felt her face become a little hotter. You. What nonsense are you talking about? Zhao Yun said somewhat angrily. She felt really shy and embarrassed. However, Mu Lianfeng scooped Zhao Yun up from the wooden tub. He took a towel from the side and wiped the water droplets on Zhao Yun's body. Then, he carried Zhao Yun to the bed. Zhao Yun closed her eyes. She didn't dare to face Mu Lianfeng. Did this guy really want to eat her up? Stop fooling around. Zhao Yun muttered softly. But Yun, what should I do if it needs to vent? Mu Lianfeng said to Zhao Yun, with a smile that was not a smile. Zhao Yun naturally knew what Mu Lianfeng was referring to by it. You solve it yourself. Zhao Yun replied weakly. It's said that it misses you. Mu Lianfeng said softly. She was clearly the pervert, but now he said that. Men were indeed the same. The more serious they looked, the more terrifying they were when they were beasts. Chapter 18:16. No. Zhao Yun refused without hesitation. Mu Lianfeng asked in confusion. Zhao Yun blushed and replied, I don't have any contraceptives at home. What if something went wrong and she accidentally got pregnant? Now that she was in the stage of making a fortune, having a child would be a burden. Besides, she already had Daodu, so she wasn't in such a hurry to have a child. In addition, she had just adopted Tian Tian. Although Tian Tian was in a tiger's den, she believed that she would be able to rescue Tian Tian one day. Tian Tian was still so young. If she had another child, it wouldn't be good for the child. Even if she had another child, she would have to wait for a few years. It would be easier to take care of the two children when they were older. Mu Lianfeng's eyes revealed a trace of disappointment. Yun, we're about to get married. Can't we have another child? Seeing Mu Lianfeng's disappointment, Zhao Yun, couldn't bear it. Then, she explained to Mu Lianfeng. After Mu Lianfeng heard it, although he was a little disappointed, he respected Zhao Yun, very much. The originally valiant and high-spirited thing was still firm. Mu Lianfeng fell asleep on Zhao Yun's side and hugged Zhao Yun from behind. Zhao Yun felt a hard object pushing against her from behind. She didn't even have to think about it. It was Mu Lianfeng's thing. Through Mu Lianfeng's pants, Zhao Yun still felt a burning sensation. That thing seemed to be eager to enter her body. Mu Lianfeng hugged Zhao Yun and whispered in Zhao Yun's ear, Yun, look, it's a little out of control. If you don't help, it might stay like this tonight. It's too uncomfortable. After living in the 21st century for 20 to 30 years, Zhao Yun had a lot of knowledge and education in this area. She knew that it was indeed uncomfortable for a man's thing to stay firm. She was afraid that something would happen after one night. How can I help? Zhao Yun asked weakly. She couldn't do it. What other good way was there to let Mu Lianfeng vent? In the next second, Zhao Yun regretted asking this question. Mu Lianfeng said, "Why don't you kiss it?" Naturally, Zhao Yun knew that it wasn't a simple kiss. She wanted to help Mu Lianfeng. For a moment, Zhao Yun Erz's face turned red. Why didn't she see it? Mu. This fellow was really too perverted. Zhao Yun was curious. Could it be that the ancient people were different from what she thought? You, wishful thinking. Zhao Yun replied shyly. She would rather have sex with Mu Lianfeng than do such a thing. At least she could close her eyes when doing it. But Mu Lianfeng's so-called kiss. Zhao Yun couldn't stand it. Mu Lianfeng had the nerve to say it. She didn't know when this guy had become like this. Or, men were actually very perverted. It was just that different people pretended to be different. How about using your hands? Mu Lianfeng continued to bargain with Zhao Yun. Zhao Yun still shook her head. Using her hands wasn't good. Thinking about Mu Lianfeng's thick thing, she didn't dare to touch it. But Yun, if you don't help, I'm afraid I won't be able to sleep tonight. It's too torturous. Sigh, if something happens to it, what will happen to your happiness in the future? Mu Lianfeng muttered. Chapter 1817. Zhao Yun pondered for a while. If Mu Lianfeng wasn't uncomfortable, he probably wouldn't have said these words. She and Mu Lianfeng were together. There were too few opportunities for Mu Lianfeng to eat meat. This man had held it in countless times. If he continued to hold it in for a long time, what if he couldn't get it one day? Her happiness for the rest of her life would indeed be affected. Zhao Yun pondered for a while. Should she help Mu Lianfeng? She couldn't let her man hold it in. Why don't we? Zhao Yun thought about it. Why don't we indulge once? It shouldn't be so easy to cause a mishap, right? After all, it wasn't so easy to get pregnant. She seemed to be in the safe period, so the chances of getting pregnant were relatively low. Mu Lianfeng listened to Zhao Yun's words, and his heart moved slightly. Yun, is it really okay? If I get pregnant? I shouldn't get pregnant. Let's not be too indulgent. Zhao Yun replied weakly. With Zhao Yun's words, Mu Lianfeng couldn't hold it in anymore. He couldn't wait to turn over and suddenly fell on Zhao Yun. Some kind of object was pressed against Zhao Yun's abdomen, making Zhao Yun very nervous. She and Mu Lianfeng had done this too few times, so she was still very shy now. Mu Lianfeng knew that Zhao Yun was embarrassed, so he had been in a dominant position and reached out to help Zhao Yun lead. Zhao Yun trembled where Mu Lianfeng touched, but she slowly felt it. She felt that she couldn't wait for Mu Lianfeng to get to the point. Mu Lianfeng wasn't in a hurry. He patiently adjusted Zhao Yun's state. The two people's bodies were tightly pressed together, like two intertwined flames, intertwining with each other, and then gradually blending into each other. The moment Mu Lianfeng entered Zhao Yun's body, the two of them seemed to have been relieved, and a sense of pleasure spread throughout their bodies. Gradually, the two of them seemed to have reached the clouds, and their bodies relaxed. It had to be said that tasting it occasionally was a very good feeling. No wonder the ancients said, food and sex are human nature. This was originally a human instinct. Doing this kind of thing was also necessary for human reproduction, but they could still get pleasure from it. As long as they didn't indulge, it was still a very good thing. The two of them were sweating profusely as they lay on the bed. After Mu Lianfeng caught his breath, he took a towel and helped Zhao Yun wipe her body. Then he took his own back and returned to the clean bed. Mu Lianfeng hugged Zhao Yun from behind. After doing this kind of thing, he felt that he and Zhao Yun seemed to be more intimate. Yun, can we do it a few more times tonight? Zhao Yun choked on Mu Lianfeng's words. A pervert was indeed a pervert. He didn't know how to control himself at all. It was fine if he did it once, but he actually wanted to do it again. He was too shameless. No. Zhao Yun refused without hesitation. Yun why? Weren't the two of us very happy just now? Zhao Yun didn't know how to respond for a moment. Happiness was happiness, but there was no need to do it all the time, right? Couldn't he understand her shyness as a woman? Mu Lianfeng saw that Zhao Yun didn't speak, so he had to give up on this idea. Chapter 18:18. If he could do this with Zhao Yun for the rest of his life, he would be willing. It seemed that their bodies had been relaxed to the extreme. The two of them lay on the bed and soon fell into a deep sleep. What the two of them didn't know was that when they were doing this, they were accidentally seen by someone. This person was Liang Xinzi. Liang Xinzi originally wanted to take a bath, so she came to find Zhao Yun to borrow a towel. She didn't expect that when she arrived at Zhao Yun's door, she saw that Zhao Yun's door was tightly shut. She planned to knock on the door, but then she heard a sound coming from the room. When she went closer to listen, she found that the bed in the room was making a creaking sound. The sound was very loud. It should be that someone was messing around on the bed, which was why there was such a sound. At the same time, the creaking sound of the bed was accompanied by a woman's cry. Liang Xinzi was also a big girl, so she more or less understood this kind of thing. That was someone doing something shameful in the room. She had seen her parents like this before at night, but she was still very shy about this kind of thing. This was Zhao Yun's room. Without thinking, it was Zhao Yun and Mu Lianfeng who were doing this kind of thing. Although she knew that Zhao Yun and Mu Lianfeng were together, she didn't expect that the two of them would develop so quickly. They even did this kind of thing. Listening to the sounds inside, Zhao Yun seemed to be enjoying it very much. Liang Xinzi's face became even redder, but she was a bit envious that Zhao Yun could be happy under the lap of a handsome man like Mu Lianfeng. If it was her, she would definitely be willing. Liang Xinzi was shy, but she was also very curious. What kind of scene was it? Her parents did it at night, so she couldn't see clearly and was too embarrassed to look. But for Zhao Yun and Mu Lianfeng, because they were similar in age, she felt that it wouldn't matter if she looked. In the end, Liang Xinzi couldn't resist the curiosity in her heart and looked inside through the crack in Zhao Yun's door. The scene in front of her eyes was of two people who had taken off their clothes and were entangled together. The scene was quite hot and exciting. If it weren't for the fact that the candle was still burning, she wouldn't have been able to see the scene inside. Mu Lianfeng seemed to have good stamina. He worked very hard. Contrasting with his extraordinarily handsome face, he appeared extremely charming and had an indescribable handsomeness. On the other hand, Zhao Yun'er closed her eyes, not daring to look at Mu Lianfeng. She suddenly felt a little envious of Zhao Yun'er. She thought that if the person under Mu Lianfeng was not Zhao Yun'er, but her instead, how good would that be? It did not seem like it was going to stop. It would have been better if she did not look, but the moment she looked, Liang Xinzi suddenly felt that a certain part of her body was a little empty. She wanted to find something to fill it up. It was a pity that she was not married yet and did not have a husband. Even if she wanted to do that kind of thing, there was still a man who could help her. Liang Xinzi bit her lower lip. While she was deep in thought, Liang Jinxiao stood not far away and said to Liang Xinzi, what are you doing? Liang Xinzi's face instantly turned red. She hurriedly ran away from Zhao Yun'er's room and went to Liang Jinxiao. She smiled embarrassedly and said, "Eldest aunt, I want to take a bath, but I don't have a towel. Can you get me one?" Liang Jinxiao smiled and replied, "Of course, I can. I'll go get it for you now." After Liang Jinxiao entered the room, she came out with a dry towel and handed it to Liang Xinzi. Liang Xinzi hurriedly thanked her. "Thank you, eldest aunt." Chapter 18:19. Okay, big aunt, you too. You should rest early too. I know, girl. After the two of them finished speaking, they returned to their rooms. After returning, Liang Xinzi still seemed to be absent-minded. She was still thinking about the scene she had accidentally seen. At her age, she couldn't help but become more curious about that kind of thing. She didn't know what it felt like for two people who loved each other to do that kind of thing. Perhaps it was very beautiful. Otherwise, her cousin wouldn't have enjoyed it so much. She was so lost in thought that when Liang Xinzi was holding the basin of water, she accidentally spilled the water on the ground. Clang, a loud sound rang out, giving Liang Xinzi a big fright. Only then did Liang Xinzi come back to her senses. Liang Xinzi patted her chest and quickly shook her head to get rid of the messy thoughts in her head. Then, she picked up the wooden basin on the ground and went to get another basin of water. The next day, after Zhao Yun's family finished the banquet, there wasn't much to do. After eating dinner early in the morning, Zhao Yun prepared to send Liang Xinzi back. It wasn't that she was stingy and didn't want her relative to stay at her house, but she felt that it was strange. After all, an outsider was still an outsider. She couldn't integrate into her family. In addition, Zhao Yun felt that Liang Xinzi was a bit strange. Although compared to Liang Xinyue, Liang Xinzi was much better, at least she wasn't as strange. However, when they were eating early in the morning, Liang Xinzi would glance at her and Mu Lianfeng from time to time, as if there was something on her face. Zhao Yun wasn't used to being stared at. For a moment, she wondered if there was something on her face. She then thought about how her cousin seemed to be interested in Mu Lianfeng. If she let Liang Xinzi stay at her house for too long, she was afraid that something might happen. Since she had time, she might as well send Liang Xinzi back. Seeing that Zhao Yun wanted to send her away, Liang Xinzi felt a bit disappointed. Although she wanted to stay, she was too embarrassed to say it. She was just an outsider, and there was no reason for her to stay at her relative's house. It was already good enough that she could stay for 2 nights. "Cousin, I'll take off my clothes and return them to you, but I might not have time to wash them." Liang Xinzi looked apologetically at Zhao Yun. As she spoke, she walked to the clothes pole and took her dried clothes from it. "No need." Zhao Yun hurriedly stopped him. "What's wrong, cousin?" Liang Xinzi looked at Zhao Yun in confusion. "You don't have to take it off. I'll give it to you," Zhao Yun said indifferently. Liang Xinzi was slightly stunned, as if she couldn't believe it. She confirmed with Zhao Yun, "Cousin, are you really giving this set of clothes to me?" Zhao Yun nodded. Liang Xinzi was a bit happy, but she still suppressed the excitement in her heart. She continued to say to Zhao Yun, "Cousin, this set of clothes is very beautiful and expensive. Are you really giving it to me?" For the people in the countryside, this set of clothes was very expensive. Zhao Yun had spent 1 tael of silver to buy it. The people in the countryside didn't even have enough to eat, so which family would have the extra money to buy such expensive clothes? Basically, they would spend 100 copper coins to buy a normal piece of cloth and then go back home to cut it. Like Zhao Yun's clothes, under normal circumstances, only the young misses of the rich families in town would be willing to buy them. Chapter 18:20. Most importantly, with this set of clothes, she and Liang Xinyue would not lose out to Liang Xinyue when they stood together. Otherwise, if the two sisters walked out, the first person people would notice would be Liang Xinyue and praise Liang Xinyue for being prettier than her. This made her feel very uncomfortable. How could Zhao Yun not understand Liang Xinzi's heart? Anyone would be excited to get a set of clothes for free. Especially girls, their love for beauty was even stronger. Zhao Yun pulled the corner of her mouth and smiled. "What, could it be that I would lie to you?" After receiving Zhao Yun's confirmation, Liang Xinzi's face smiled like a flower. She quickly said, "Cousin, you're so good to me. I'm afraid that even my own sister would not treat me like this. If everyone was like you, Cousin Yun, that would be great." Who didn't like to hear nice words? As long as Liang Xinzi knew how to be grateful, it was fine. This was not the attitude of Wu Zhenju's family. Actually, she was not generously giving the clothes to Liang Xinzi, but she did not like to use things that had been used by others. Liang Xinzi had already worn the clothes she lent to Liang Xinzi, so she was not willing to touch them again. She was afraid that if she kept them, she would not wear them again. Since she was wasting them at home, she might as well give them to Liang Xinzi and gain a favor. You're welcome. It's good that you like them. After all, I've worn them before. Why would I be afraid that you would think too much? Zhao Yun said. Liang Xinzi quickly waved her hand and said, Cousin, what are you saying? Even if they were worn before, they are still valuable. Zhao Yun only smiled and did not continue speaking. After eating dinner and cleaning up, Zhao Yun drove the ox cart and set off. The Liang family and Zhao Yun's family were separated by a few villages. If they walked back, it would be quite tiring. Liang Xinzi's foot was injured, so it was even more impossible for her to walk back. In her memory, Zhao Yun had only been to the Liang family a few times. Before she transmigrated, the Zhao family was very poor, and her uncles and aunts were very powerful. Naturally, they didn't like her family. Liang Jinxiao and Zhao Wenhua were tactful people. They had never been there except during the New Year or other festivals. Even when they went there, they rarely brought their children with them. They were afraid that they would cause trouble for the Liang family. The last time Zhao Yun'er went there was about 7 or 8 years ago. Her Xiao Mao helped me get up very quickly, and in a short while, I arrived at the Liang family's village. The Liang family's village was similar to the Shui Lan village. They were both poor villages. The Liang family could be considered as a wealthy family in the village. The Liang family's ancestors had a pretty good life and had quite a few fields. Although this generation had declined a bit, a starving camel was still bigger than a horse. Their lives were still pretty good. In addition, her 2 uncles were bricklayers. Usually, they would work for others and earn some money. The Liang family might not be rich, but at least they didn't have to starve. Before they arrived at the Liang family, the villagers saw Liang Xinzi as soon as they entered the village. At the same time, they were curious about Zhao Yun, who was driving the ox cart. A few girls around the same age as Liang Xinzi saw that Liang Xinzi was wearing a pretty silk dress. They couldn't help but feel a trace of jealousy in their hearts. They said sourly, Liang Xinzi, where did you go to be so rich that you came back with such good luck? Liang Xinzi had a smile on her face as she said, I went to my aunt's house. Yesterday, I was drinking wine at her house. Chapter 1821. Isn't that obvious? No matter how rich their family is, they wouldn't be willing to buy such clothes. Liang Xinzi, I heard that your eldest aunt's family is very rich. Your family is really lucky to be able to climb up to rich relatives. It's a pity that my family doesn't have any. If I could wear such beautiful clothes, I would definitely be very beautiful. Clothes make the man, Buddha makes the gold. Who wouldn't look beautiful wearing these clothes? When Zhao Yun heard these little girls talking one after another, the corner of her mouth couldn't help but twitch. It really was as the saying goes, 3 women make a play. Places with women were troublesome. With these girls blocking her way, Zhao Yun was a little impatient. Liang Xinzi was a little embarrassed by what they said, as if she had taken advantage of them. These girls were obviously jealous of her, and each of their words was more unpleasant than the last. However, she couldn't do anything about it and could only let them speak. At this time, Liang Xinyue had just returned from a stroll by the river. Early in the morning, she had gone out with her village companions to get some fresh air. Her hands were stepping on some wild flowers. Liang Xinyue's good friend, Liang Chuihua, tugged at Liang Xinyue and said, You, look, aren't you your cousin? Liang Xinyue nodded, that's right. Liang Chuihua's eyes revealed a trace of envy, and she continued to speak to Liang Xinyue, You, don't tell me that your cousin looks a lot better after changing her clothes. Where did she get these clothes? Your family couldn't have only bought clothes for her, but you didn't, right? Liang Xinyue lazily glanced at Liang Xinzi and snorted disdainfully, that was bought for her. I just borrowed it from my cousin. Borrowed it from your cousin? That's right, the one driving the donkey cart. Liang Xinzi pointed at Zhao Yun. Liang Zuhua stared at Zhao Yun. Seeing that Zhao Yun was wearing coarse clothes, she couldn't help but be curious. Yue, is there something wrong with your cousin's head? Why would she wear such tattered clothes and lend such nice clothes to your cousin? It would have been better if Liang Zuihua hadn't said anything, but the moment she did, Liang Xinyue got a little angry. She snorted and replied to Liang Zuihua, who knows what she's thinking? Then there must be something wrong with her head. Liang Zuihua looked at Zhao Yun sympathetically. As the two of them spoke, Liang Zuihua led them over to Zhao Yun and Liang Shizi to join in the fun. After arriving, Liang Xinyue heard the people around her talking about how beautiful Liang Shizi's clothes were. Liang Xinyue felt uncomfortable when she heard this. She stared at Liang Shizi and asked, "Cousin, you really don't know how to behave. Since you're back today, why don't you take off your clothes and return them to your cousin?" Could it be that you don't want to return them? Liang Xinyue said this to sow discord between Liang Shizi and Zhao Yun so that Zhao Yun wouldn't have a good impression of Liang Shizi. On the other hand, she wanted to show Liang Shizi's vanity in front of everyone. She didn't even know how to return the clothes she borrowed. After Liang Xinyue said this, Liang Shizi's face turned red. She weakly replied, "Yue Mimi, don't talk nonsense. It's not that I don't want to return these clothes to my cousin. My cousin gave them to me." Liang Xinyue didn't believe her. How is that possible? How could my cousin be willing to give such beautiful clothes to you? Chapter 1822. Everyone's eyes fell on Zhao Yun. Zhao Yun was really speechless, but this matter really couldn't let people misunderstand Liang Xinz. So she nodded and softly responded, "Yes, this dress is indeed my gift to cousin Z. Since Zhao Yun had spoken, Liang Xinyue couldn't continue to bite Liang Xinzi, but she was even more jealous. She couldn't understand why Zhao Yun would give such beautiful clothes to Liang Xinzi. It was obviously expensive, but Zhao Yun was willing to give it to her. Thinking about how Zhao Yun gave Liang Xinzi clothes but didn't give it to her, Liang Xinyue's jealousy grew. Her cousin was really biased. They were both cousins. Since she gave it to Liang Xinzi, she should at least give it to her. Of course, Liang Xinzi was just thinking about it. She couldn't count on Zhao Yun to give her clothes. Yesterday, Zhao Yun was so stingy that she refused to lend it to her. How could she give it to her? Liang Xinyue looked at Liang Xinzi's beautiful clothes and found them to be very dazzling. She could not show her jealousy on her face, so she just glanced at Liang Xinzi and said, "I really have to hand it to you. You want clothes that she has already worn. You really want to take advantage of her." After Liang Xinyue finished speaking, the other girls around them were jealous of Liang Xinyue, so they followed behind Liang Xinyue and said, "That's right. It's not like it's new. What others have worn is good. Isn't it because of vanity? She wants to wear nice clothes to show off in front of us. If it's new, she can show off. What's so good about this second-hand dress?" If Liang Xinyue didn't say it, we wouldn't know that Liang Xinzi is wearing old clothes. She doesn't look that good. She just wants to wear nice clothes. But it's useless. She's so old. It's hard to find a good husband. These people were chattering, one sentence after another. Zhao Yun could not help but sigh that these people were really bored. Women really like to be jealous. They were very petty. Liang Shizi was a thin-skinned person. When these people said this, her face immediately turned red. Liang Shizi had originally been happy, but now, because of these people, Liang Shizi felt that the clothes she was wearing were very prickly. It was abnormally uncomfortable to wear. Zhao Yun glanced at Liang Shizi and felt some sympathy for Liang Shizi. She opened her mouth and said, "What's wrong with old clothes? Could it be that old clothes couldn't be worn? I've only worn these clothes a few times. If I didn't tell you, you wouldn't be able to tell. I don't understand. All of you are wearing patched clothes. My clothes are intact and brand new. Why are all of you criticizing me? When Zhao Yuner said this, all of them looked at Zhao Yuner. Although Zhao Yuner was speaking the truth, these people said this purely out of jealousy. Liang Shizi looked gratefully at Zhao Yuner. Her cousin was really good. She spoke up for her. It made her feel very touched. Liang Xinyue's expression did not look too good. Cousin, that's true. But cousin Z, took advantage of you. If it were me, I definitely wouldn't want it. Chapter 1823. When Zhao Yun said this, all of them looked towards Liang Xinyue, giving birth to a look of disdain towards Liang Xinyue. Liang Xinyue's face revealed a trace of embarrassment, and she stomped her feet hatefully. Her cousin liked to oppose her, didn't she? What was so good about that slut Liang Xinzi that she just had to help her? She really couldn't understand. Everyone still wanted to say something, but Zhao Yun yawned, and lazily replied, "Can I trouble you all to move aside? I still have to send someone back. I don't have that much time, I have to go back to my village to work." The people who were originally waiting for the way out unwillingly moved aside. Zhao Yun was preparing to drive the donkey away when she heard people talking behind her. Liang Xinyue, this woman is the one who got pregnant before marriage and had an affair with a wild man? Yes, didn't I hear that you have a cousin who got pregnant before marriage, and gave birth to a wild child with someone? Looking at her age, it should be her, right? The matter of Zhao Yun, getting pregnant before marriage was not only known by everyone in Shui Lan village, it had even spread to the Liang family village. Because Liang Jinxiao was a married girl in this village, whenever something ugly happened, the gossipy old women would like to bring it back to the village and spread it. Liang Xinyue snorted softly, and nodded, yes, it's her. Yo, Liang Xinyue, your cousin did such a shameful thing, but you don't see her embarrassed, instead, she's rich now. Sigh, if it was me, after doing such a shameful thing, would definitely be too embarrassed to go out. What's the use of having money? Can money cover up the shameful things you've done? Some people are just thick-skinned, what else can they do? Hearing these people's words, Zhao Yun couldn't help but feel uncomfortable in her heart. There was a good saying, good things don't leave the house, but bad things spread far and wide. She was the example of bad things spreading far and wide. It seemed that she was famous in the Liang village. Who would like to hear words like having an affair with another man? Before Zhao Yuner could react, she heard Liang Xinzi speak up for the injustice, don't speak nonsense. What wild man? Cousin Yuner is the child of Shi Ziyi and cousin Yuner. In the future, she will be Shi Ziye's wife. If the crown prince were to hear this, he would definitely tear your mouths apart. After Liang Xinzi finished speaking, not only were these people not afraid, they laughed even harder. Who are you trying to scare? You even had a child with the crown prince? He's the heir apparent and has a noble status. How could he be interested in such a lowly person? That's right. His Highness has a noble status and he's not blind. We're all country bumpkins. How can we be worthy of him? Liang Xinzi, can't you think before you speak? Who would believe that? How can this kind of trash be fit to be the princess consort? Then any of us can be the princess consort. When these people talked about the happy parts, they were rolling back and forth in laughter. They trampled Zhao Yuner into the mud, as if she was a lowly creature. Zhao Yuner's eyes revealed a trace of coldness. These people were really interesting. Liang Xinzi angrily glared at these people and said unhappily, I'm not speaking nonsense. My cousin is indeed going to be together with Shi Ziyi and marry him to be the princess consort. The imperial edict was passed down that day and I saw it. If you don't believe me, you can ask my younger sister Yue. She was also there that day. Chapter 1824. After all, Zhao Yuner had just humiliated Liang Xinyue, so there was no need for Liang Xinyue to defend Zhao Yuner and speak up for Zhao Yuner. Yue, tell me, is what your cousin said true? Liang Xinyue, your cousin can't be telling the truth, right? How could Lord Heir Apparent take a fancy to someone like her? How can a country bumpkin like us be worthy of Lord Heir Apparent's noble status? She doesn't even have the qualifications to be Lord Heir Apparent's concubine, let alone be Lord Heir Apparent's concubine. That's right, she doesn't even have the qualifications to be a concubine. She still wants to be Lord Heir Apparent's concubine? She's really not afraid of boasting to the heavens and making people laugh until their front teeth fall out. All of them jeered and jeered, thinking that this matter couldn't be true. Liang Xinyue's expression turned even uglier. These people didn't know, but how could she not know? After all, she was present when the imperial edict was announced. How could those gold, silver, and jewels be fake? Liang Xinyue twitched the corners of her mouth and said with an ugly expression, "What my cousin said is true." The laughter of the crowd, who were still making a ruckus, immediately stopped. What? Liang Xinyue, are you sure? That's right, how could she be Lord Heir Apparent's concubine? You're not speaking up for her, are you? The crowd couldn't believe it and raised the doubts in their hearts. The corner of Liang Xinyue's mouth twitched, and she repeated herself, "I didn't say anything wrong, and I didn't speak up for her. It's just as my cousin said. His Majesty even issued an imperial edict. I was there that day and saw it." After Liang Xinyue finished speaking, the girls who were originally mocking Zhao Yuner looked as if someone had slapped them in the face. Each and every one of them blushed. But at the same time, they were extremely jealous of Zhao Yuner. She was just a country bumpkin, but she actually became Lord Heir Apparent's concubine. Even if her status was elevated because of her son, being a concubine was already not bad. How could she be the main wife with such a status? When Liang Xinzi saw that no one was speaking, she angrily warned them, "So don't speak nonsense. If you continue to laugh at my cousin Yuner, you will suffer if this reaches the ears of the heir." These people were not afraid of Zhao Yuner, but they were still afraid when they heard the name, Crown Prince. In the great Zhou country, nobles couldn't be offended, otherwise there wouldn't be any good consequences. The arrogance of the people who had been laughing and making a ruckus suddenly dissipated, and they all shut their mouths. The main thing was that he didn't dare to say it out loud. If Zhao Yuner really went to complain to Shi Ziyi, it wouldn't be worth it for them to suffer. Zhao Yuner was too lazy to argue with these ignorant women. What she wanted to say, Liang Shizi had already said for her. There was no need for her to say anything. If she really used Mu Lianfeng's identity to say anything, it would seem like she was showing off. Now that these people had stopped, Zhao Yuner urged Xiao Mao to continue moving forward. When Zhao Yuner walked away, these people began to discuss again. They kept asking Liang Xinyue, "What is going on here? How did your cousin get into Shi Ziyi's good graces?" "That's right, wasn't it a child with a wild man? How did it become Shi Ziyi's child? Did she run into dog shit luck? If she can become the princess consort, wouldn't she have a meteoric rise in the future? I don't understand. She isn't even as good looking as Yu Yuner, so why would Shi Ziyi like her?" Chapter 1825. She replied to these people with some displeasure, "How would I know why the young master would take a fancy to her? If you ask me, who should I ask? You should ask the young master about this." With that, Liang Xinyue left in a huff. She was still displeased. She was still angry about Zhao Yuner. As soon as she thought about how arrogant Zhao Yuner was in front of her and how Zhao Yuner was going to marry the young master, she felt extremely jealous. She just could not feel good. She did not want to be with the young master anymore. She only sighed at Zhao Yuner's good fortune. How could a country bumpkin like her be able to marry someone as noble as the young master? She only took a fancy to Mo Yan, but Mo Yan did not take a fancy to her. Now that she had returned from Zhao Yuner's home, she probably would not have the chance to see Mo Yan again. She would not even have the chance to develop feelings for her. Waiting for Liang Xinyue to leave in a huff, the people behind her began to discuss again. Why is Liang Xinyue's expression so ugly? She even threw a tantrum at us. Isn't that normal? Anyone would feel uncomfortable, right? I'm laughing at her cousin's smug expression. She's a villain, humph. That's true. She bullied Yuer like that. Sigh, Yuer is so pitiful. But this matter really is quite surprising. I've never heard of a girl marrying so well in the surrounding villages. Aren't they usually well matched in terms of social status? The difference between her cousin and the young master is just too great. That's right, Zhao Yun left after sending young Xinhua back to her parents' home. Feng Zhangxia was extremely polite to Zhao Yun when she saw that Zhao Yun had gone through a lot of trouble to send Liang Xinhua back. She chuckled at Zhao Yun, why don't you rest and drink some water? Let's have lunch together. I'll cook something delicious for you. It's not easy for you to send my Z home. Liang Jinshan chimed in, that's right. Yun, why don't you stay for lunch at eldest uncle's house? Although the food isn't as good as yours, we'll try our best to make it more sumptuous. Zhao Yun refused indifferently. No need. Uncle, aunt, you don't have to be so polite. I have nothing to do today. I just happen to have time to send cousin Z back. However, Liang Jinshan said with a serious face, how can that be? Yun, you came all the way here. You still have to save your lunch. Otherwise, this is not the way to treat a guest. Zhao Yun sneered in her heart. Now that her family was doing well, the Liang family wanted to curry favor with her, so they asked her to stay for dinner. Zhao Yun remembered that when Liang Jinxiao and Zhao Wenhua visited her eldest uncle and second uncle's house to visit relatives, her two uncles weren't so enthusiastic to ask them to stay for dinner. Zhao Yun didn't want to have much to do with these snobbish people, so she flatly refused again. Eldest uncle, aunt, you don't have to trouble yourself. It's still early. I'll be anxious waiting here. Why don't I go back? There's still a lot of food left from yesterday's banquet. An extra mouth can eat more, so that it doesn't go to waste. Seeing Zhao Yun's resolute attitude, they guessed that they couldn't persuade her. Feng Zhangxia and Liang Jinshan were really good people. All right then. Yun, take care on your way back. Okay. Zhao Yun said goodbye and directly turned to leave with Xiao Mao. Chapter 1826. However, the bottom part of the loquat tree had obviously been plucked, and there were still a lot of unplucked leaves on the top. If she wanted to pick them, she had to climb up the tree. The branches of the tree were very big, and it was not easy to climb up. Otherwise, the loquats on the branches would have been picked clean by others. For Zhao Yun, climbing trees was not a difficult task. When she was young, she often went around looking for bird nests with her grandfather in the countryside. She was like a nimble monkey. Although her body was a little clumsy now, she still remembered the technique of climbing trees by heart. Zhao Yun stared at the jujube-sized loquats in the book and sighed in her heart. These were all good things. Not only was the loquat flesh sweet and delicious, but the loquat leaves were also good things. The loquat leaves could be boiled in water and could be drunk to stop coughing. It was more effective than ordinary medicine. Xiao Mao, stop for a moment. Zhao Yun called out to Xiao Mao and stared at the loquats on the treetops and swallowed her saliva. Since it was an ownerless loquat tree, it was no problem for her to pick it. She would bring it back for Daodu and Mulan's children to try. For children, it was good stuff. Zhao Yun did as she said. She rolled up her sleeves, walked to the loquat tree, and climbed up the trunk. Her movements were not as nimble as before, but it was not bad. She climbed very smoothly. Zhao Yun stepped on the branch and reached out to the loquats on the treetops. She had originally planned to put them in her pockets, but if all the loquats on the tree were picked, her two pockets would definitely not be able to hold them. She simply plucked them and threw them on the ground. She would go down and pick them up after she finished plucking them. As she plucked, Zhao Yun even plucked a few and stuffed them into her mouth. The sweet taste overflowed her entire mouth. This wild fruit was more delicious than the fruit bought in the 21st century. When she was about to finish plucking them, she suddenly saw a woman and a few children picking up the loquats that she had thrown on the ground. Zhao Yun'er frowned and scolded, "Hey, what are you doing?" Only then did the woman and the child raise their heads and glance at Zhao Yun'er on the tree. "What are you shouting for? What are you doing if you don't see us?" The woman replied unhappily. "I was the one who got this loquat. What right do you have to pick it up? What kind of attitude is this?" Zhao Yun was also a little angry. If these people's attitudes were better, it would be fine. At most, she would let them eat it. After all, this was not her family's loquat. However, these people's attitudes were obviously not good. They had no manners at all. The woman and her children were squatting on the ground, trying their best to put the loquats she had knocked down into their pockets. The woman snorted and said, "You knocked it down, so it's yours? This loquat tree is not your home. What's wrong with us picking it up?" Zhao Yun'er's expression turned even uglier. She jumped down from the tree and walked towards the woman. When the woman saw Zhao Yun'er's fierce look, she was more or less afraid. She muttered and asked, "You? What do you want to do?" Zhao Yun'er said, "If you have the ability, go up the tree and get it yourself. What's the point of picking up the loquats that I worked so hard to pluck for free?" The woman sized up Zhao Yun'er. Her eyes turned and she snorted. "Hee, you're not from our village." Zhao Yun'er narrowed her eyes for a moment, thinking about what this woman meant. Chapter 1827. Her attitude suddenly became a little worse. She put her hands on her waist and said to Zhao Yun'er, "You are not from our village. Why are you so arrogant in front of us? Since when did outsiders have the right to eat the fruits in our village?" Zhao Yun'er looked a little dignified. Was it true that people who were not from the village could not eat the loquats on the tree as the woman said? She thought it was impossible. The loquat tree was wild and grew on the roadside. Since it was ownerless, others could eat it even if it was in other villages. "It's the first time for me to hear that people can't eat the wild fruit trees growing on the roadside." Zhao Yun'er replied impolitely. The woman put her hands on her waist and said, "What I said is true. Who do you think you are? You'd better not push your luck. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude." After Zhao Yun'er said so, the woman began to shout. "Hey, people from other villages are beating people. Everyone, come and take a look. Help us. When did it become the turn of outsiders to bully our villagers?" The woman's voice was obviously very loud. After she shouted, many people came immediately. These people were all from the village. There were both men and women. They surrounded Zhao Yun'er. "What happened to Auntie Tian?" "Yes, what's the matter with Sister Tian? Did people from other villages beat her? Who dares to make trouble in our Tian family village? They really treat us as dead people." This woman, who was called Big Sister Tian, was probably a drama queen. After the villagers came over, she wiped her tears and cried. "Look, people from other villages came to our village to steal loquats. I asked my grandsons to pick them up and share them with our villagers. But this woman just won't let me go. She even said that she would teach me a lesson. Guys, tell me, why did she do that? It's okay that she came to our village to steal things. Why is she so unreasonable?" After Sister Tian explained, the onlooking villagers were very dissatisfied with Zhao Yun'er. They began to criticize Zhao Yun'er. "That's right. How dare they bully people from our village in the territory of Tian family village? Isn't it too much? How can such a person be so unreasonable? I think he needs to be taught a lesson. Thank goodness I didn't make a move. If I did, I definitely wouldn't let her off." Exactly, although Zhao Yun'er could understand the villagers' protectiveness, she still felt uncomfortable in her heart. This loquat tree grows on the side of the road, and I don't see any signs saying that other than the people in the village, no one else can eat it. Why did you say that you can't eat it after I spent so much effort to get it? Zhao Yun'er asked. What are you talking about, young lady? Was there even a need to say this? If the trees that grow in our village are not for the people in our village to eat, are they for outsiders to eat? What sign? Are you the only one who doesn't realize it? Most people wouldn't pluck it. Get out of here. Don't think about the loquats that you plucked. If you don't get out of here, we won't be polite to you. Zhao Yun'er suddenly felt as if she had eaten shit. These people were really good at making sarcastic remarks. She didn't see them going up the tree to pluck the loquats themselves. Now, after she spent so much effort to climb up the tree and pluck the loquats, these people wanted to enjoy the fruits of her work. How could there be such a good thing? Chapter 1828. Zhao Yun'er glanced at the person who spoke up for her. It was a middle-aged woman who looked very kind. Sister-in-law Zhang, what are you talking about? Why should we share the things in our village with the people from other villages? Mrs. Zhang was a little embarrassed, but she still insisted, I'm just telling you the truth. If it weren't for this girl, no one in our village would climb up the treetop to pick the loquats. Now that this girl has plucked the loquats, we can get some to eat, but we should let her take some, right? After all, it's not easy to climb a tree. If she falls down accidentally, she will get hurt easily. It's such a dangerous thing. We can't let her take this risk for nothing, right? After hearing Mrs. Zhang's words, the villagers felt that what she said was somewhat reasonable. A few people chimed in, I think Auntie Zhang is right. I think we should give some loquats to this girl. I also agree with Mrs. Zhang. It's not easy for her to climb up the tree. We can't reap the rewards and take advantage of her, right? Well, that's right. We should let this girl take some. Seeing that the villagers suddenly spoke up for Zhao Yun'er, Mrs. Tian was a little unhappy. She raised her voice and said, if this happens again, I think people from other villages will like to take advantage of our Tian family village. At that time, they will take the grain in our fields and say that they spent a lot of effort to let us give them half of the grain. Mrs. Zhang sighed and said, Sister Tian, these two things are not the same. You can't compare them like this. But Mrs. Tian didn't give up and said, why can't we compare them? I think it's the same reason. Just as the two of them were arguing, someone saw a man in a green robe walking over from not far away. He looked to be in his early 20s. He had a refined appearance and was delicate and pretty. Although he looked a little thin, his temperament was very good. He had the elegant and clean feeling of a scholar. This man walked in the crowd. Compared with the rough men around him, he was very eye-catching. Zhao Yun'er couldn't help but take another look at this man. He didn't know why, but after seeing this man, he had a very familiar feeling, but he couldn't remember where he had seen him before. Moreover, there was a strange feeling of nervousness in her heart. She didn't know what she was nervous about. Tian Wenhan is here. Auntie Zhang, Sister Tian, stop arguing. Let Tian Wenhan speak. He is a scholar and knows more than us. In the countryside, the average scholar was highly respected by the people. Because most of the farmers in the village were very poor, there were only a handful of people who could afford to go to school. This Tian Wenhan was not only one of the few scholars in the Tian family village, but he was also quite good at studying. Last year, he had passed the Shiozai examination and was the only Shiozai in the village. Now that the villagers had something to wrangle about, other than looking for Li Zheng, the second person they liked to look for was Tian Wenhan. Maybe he thought that Tian Wenhan had read a lot of books and had a lot of principles, so he wouldn't be biased. After someone shouted, Auntie Zhang and Sister Tian immediately closed their mouths and stopped talking. Although they were not convinced, they were willing to listen to what Tian Wenhan had to say. Chapter 1829. Wenhan, tell us, how should we judge this matter? Should we give this girl some loquats, or not? When Tian Wenhan walked in, the villagers told him the whole story of the matter. Tian Wenhan's attention was not on what the villagers said, but on Zhao Yun. He thought he was mistaken, but when he looked again, it was indeed Zhao Yun. However, what made Tian Wenhan puzzled was that although the woman in front of him looked similar to the person in his memory, her temperament was completely different. Most importantly, this woman obviously saw him, but she was unmoved, as if she did not know him at all. Tian Wenhan was stunned for a few seconds, then he felt bitter, thinking that he might have mistaken her for someone else. Aunt Zhang and sister Tian were waiting for Tian Wenhan to judge. Tian Wenhan thought for a moment. In addition to fairness, he also had some selfish motives for Zhao Yun, so he said to Aunt Zhang and sister Tian, since this loquat tree grew on the side of the road, it was not planted by any of our families, and it was not planted in the village. Passers-by can eat it. Moreover, if this girl does not pick the loquats on the treetops, they will only rot on the tree. She spent a lot of effort to get up there, and it was not easy. Even if she doesn't pick a lot of loquats, at least half of them should be given to her. Seeing that Tian Wenhan also spoke for her, Zhao Yun felt that Tian family village was not full of bad people. Just like Shuilan village, there were good people as well as bad people, so the whole village could not be judged by the actions of individual people. Sister Tian originally had some complaints, but since Tian Wenhan said so, she would be unreasonable if she continued to argue. Seeing that her grandchildren's pockets were stuffed with loquats, she felt that she had also earned a lot this time, so she said lightly, "Then let's do as Wenhan said." The surrounding villagers did not have any objections, and they even took the initiative to help Zhao Yun pick up the loquats on the ground. Although big sister Tian's children took a lot, Zhao Yun still got a lot. It was almost half a basket, and it was definitely enough for the children to eat. There were still some leftovers on the ground. The villagers picked up some themselves, but there were too many people, so each person didn't get much. On the other hand, big sister Tian had gotten a huge bargain. The villagers all picked up some loquats. Only Tian Wenhan stood still. His eyes were fixed on Zhao Yun'er. When Zhao Yun'er noticed it, Tian Wenhan hurriedly turned his head away. He was caught by Zhao Yun'er and looked a little embarrassed. Zhao Yun'er had some doubts in her heart. Why was this Tian Wenhan always staring at her? Although it was intentional or unintentional, she still felt that something was wrong with Tian Wenhan. After the surrounding villagers finished picking up the loquats, they left one after another. Zhao Yun'er climbed up a tree and picked some loquat leaves. When she was done, she found that Tian Wenhan was still standing to the side. Zhao Yun'er thought for a moment, grabbed 2 handfuls of loquats, walked to Tian Wenhan, and stuffed them into Tian Wenhan's hands. This loquat is very sweet and delicious. You should also try some. Zhao Yun'er smiled and said. Tian Wenhan looked like a scholar. Many scholars were thin-skinned. She guessed that Tian Wenhan was embarrassed, so he didn't pick up loquats on the ground like the other villagers to eat. Tian Wenhan was slightly stunned. He looked at the loquats in his hands in a trance. Chapter 1830. Don't just stand there. I'm not lying to you. It's really delicious. Zhao Yun said as she peeled a loquat and stuffed it into her mouth. Tian Wenhan followed Zhao Yun's example and peeled a loquat for a taste. He found that the loquat tasted really good. It was sweet, as if the sweetness could reach his heart. Tian Wenhan looked at the smile on Zhao Yun's face again and felt that it was unreal. It's delicious. After eating one loquat gracefully, he smiled at Zhao Yun. She saw that this bookworm was really silly, but she still felt that he was very cute. In addition, Tian Wenhan helped her today, so Zhao Yun had a good impression of this bookworm. Thank you for today. Thank you for speaking up for me. Zhao Yun thanked him. You're welcome. Tian Wenhan shook his head. I didn't speak up for you specifically. It's just what I think. Well, I still have to thank you. Zhao Yun thanked him. Tian Wenhan held the loquat in his hand and stared at the smile on Zhao Yun's face. A strange feeling emerged in his heart. Zhao Yun packed up the loquat leaves and put away the loquat. Then she said goodbye to Tian Wenhan. I'm going back. See you again if fate wills it. As soon as Zhao Yun got on the donkey cart, Tian Wenhan called out to Zhao Yun Miss, wait. Zhao Yun turned around and looked at Tian Wenhan in confusion. What's wrong? I don't know if your name is Zhao Yun After Tian Wenhan asked, Zhao Yun frowned. She was wondering why the way this man looked at her felt a little strange. It turned out that he knew her. How do you know? Have we seen each other before? Zhao Yun asked. She felt puzzled. Since Tian Wenhan knew her, why didn't she have the slightest impression of Tian Wenhan? You don't remember me? Tian Wenhan's mouth had a touch of bitterness. This. Zhao Yun was a little embarrassed. She tried hard to recall, but her memory of the person in front of her was blank. She couldn't find the slightest trace of him. Since she had no memory, who was the person in front of her? How did he know her? I'm sorry. I fell down the mountain once. Maybe we used to know each other, but I really don't remember now. Zhao Yun explained in embarrassment. She thought that Tian Wenhan would be able to understand such an excuse. Tian Wenhan nodded. His eyes dimmed as he said, so that's how it is. Zhao Yun felt that the reaction of the man in front of her was very strange. Why did he feel so sad? She couldn't ask too much, so she asked weakly, just now, I heard the people in your village say that the young master's name is Tian Wenhan? N. Tian Wenhan responded. Zhao Yun thought about asking her parents if they knew Tian Wenhan. After all, Zhao Yun grew up with Liang Jinxiao and Zhao Wenhua for so many years. Her parents should know about her. If there's nothing else, I'll go first. Zhao Yun felt a little embarrassed. She couldn't continue to stay here. Although Tian Wenhan was a little reluctant, he couldn't think of a reason to keep Zhao Yun there, so he nodded and responded. Tian Wenhan sighed heavily until Zhao Yun's back was far away. AI. Chapter 1831. After all, he was the one who let her down. Even now, he still felt a little guilty. Tian Wenhan put away his messy feelings and sighed again. Then, he turned around and left. Because it was only a village away, Zhao Yun returned home after a short while. During this period of time, the villagers were very busy. The rice in the fields had to be watered every day to ensure that there was enough water in the paddy fields. It was almost time to harvest the vegetable seeds in the fields, and they had to be disposed of after a while. In ancient times, the common cooking oil was the vegetable oil that was grown in the fields. The lard had to be refined with pig fat, and the price was more expensive. The poor villagers could not afford it at all. They could only grow some vegetable seeds and send them to the oil mill to extract the oil. Zhao Yun's family also planted a lot. If it was in the past, they would have to sell a lot of the oil extracted from the vegetable seeds for money. There was not much left in their family. Now that their family's financial situation was better, Zhao Yun did not plan to sell the oil for money. She let Zhao Wenhua keep the vegetable seeds for their family to eat. With more oil in the vegetables, the taste would be better. It was already past 10 o'clock when they rushed home with Xiao Mao. They could eat after some preparations. Zhao Yun took out a wooden basin filled with water and half-washed loquats. She called Dao Du and Zhao Tianfu over to eat. For the two children, loquats were good snacks. The two children seemed to like them very much. Zhao Yun took some and handed it to Liang Jinxiao and old Madame Liang, indicating that the two adults should eat as well. These two people were too reserved. If she did not hand it to them personally, they probably would not reach out to take it. Old Madame Liang waved her hand and replied with a smile, Yun, you guys eat. I see that the two children like it very much. Let them eat more. I don't need any. Grandma, there's a lot. There's enough to eat. Zhao Yun persuaded. If these loquats were placed in front of Hu Chunhua, it was likely that Hu Chunhua would have rushed to eat them. Why would she be polite to her? Then keep it. You can eat it later. Old Madame Liang was still polite to Zhao Yun. In the end, Liang Jinxiao couldn't stand it anymore and advised the two old ladies, Mother, Yun'er asked you to eat, so just eat. Don't be too polite. There are so many good things at home, how can a few children finish them all? All right then, let's eat together. Yes. Liang Jinxiao responded with a smile. After peeling the loquat and tasting it, he praised, Yun'er, it tastes good. It's sweet and delicious. Seeing the satisfied faces of the family, Zhao Yun'er smiled and said, eat more if you like it. Oh, that's right. Mother, since our courtyard is so big, we should plant more fruit trees later. Loquat trees, peach trees, grape trees, and orange trees can all be planted. When the fruit ripens, we can eat it without having to buy it. Liang Jinxiao nodded in agreement. Okay, there are so many children at home. It's good to plant some fruit trees. In the past, the courtyard at home wasn't big enough. Now that the courtyard is so big, it's a waste not to use it. Yun'er, go to town and buy some fruit trees back for your father to plant. Yes, yes. Zhao Yun'er nodded heavily. After waiting for the family to finish eating, there were still a lot of loquats left after washing. Zhao Yun'er put them on a plate and sent some to Mulan's family. The children ate the loquats with happy expressions. Their small mouths were as if they had touched honey, and they all thanked her. Chapter 1832. Muhin wanted to be polite, but she knew Mulan's character, so she had to accept it. Muhin peeled the skin and ate the sweet meat of the loquat. She deliberately left the pit. Sister, this loquat is very delicious. I'll bury the pit in the soil in the yard. Maybe a loquat tree will grow in the future. Mulan nodded and said, yes, keep it. I also think it's very delicious. By the way, Yun'er, where did you get this loquat? Did you buy it? Mulan's eyes fell on Zhao Yun'er. Zhao Yun shook her head and said, no, I picked it by the tree nearby. Yun'er, you're so awesome. Zhao Yun'er smiled and didn't tell Zhao Yun what happened in Tian village. In the morning, Zhu Eru came back from the field with 2 big watermelons in his hands. There are 2 ripe watermelons at home, so I picked them. Zhu Eru patted the watermelons in his hands. Mulan came forward excitedly. Seeing that the watermelons in Zhao Eru's hands were quite big, she smiled and said, they're ripe so quickly? Yes, I put some fertilizer on them a while ago, so they grew faster. Then let's eat them in the afternoon. It's a pity that there's no well at home. Otherwise, they'll be hung in the well to chill. It'll taste better. Yes. It's okay as long as they taste good. Seeing that Zhu Eru had just picked 2 watermelons, Mulan handed one to Zhao Yun'er and said to Zhao Yun'er, there are 2 watermelons. Take one back and eat it. Zhao Yun didn't pretend to be polite to Mulan, but said with a smile, okay. She held the watermelon, which was heavy and probably weighed about 7 or 8 kilograms. She patted the watermelon, and a crisp sound came from inside. It was indeed ripe. Then I'll go back first. Sister-in-law Mulan, you should also prepare lunch. All right. At noon, they still ate leftovers at home. Thanks to the simple refrigerator she made, the leftovers didn't spoil. When Zhao Yun'er and Liang Jinxiao were preparing food in the kitchen, they thought of the Tian Wenhan they met today. Zhao Yun'er asked tentatively, Mother, do you know who the Tian Wenhan in the Tian village is? Zhao Yun'er's sudden words made Liang Jinxiao's hand, which was holding the spatula, pause. Tian Wenhan. Yun, did you remember something? Liang Jinxiao blurted out the question. At the same time, her face darkened, as if she had mentioned something bad. Zhao Yun'er was even more confused. Mother, what are you thinking of? Do I really know this Tian Wenhan? Who is this person? Liang Jinxiao's eyes revealed a touch of panic. She hurriedly said, no. Nothing. Mother doesn't know him either. Seeing Liang Jinxiao's dodging eyes and constantly blinking, Zhao Yun'er knew that Liang Jinxiao was lying. She frowned and continued to ask, Mother, don't lie to me. You must know who he is, right? Tell me quickly. Yun'er, let bygones be bygones. It's a good thing that you don't remember. Why do you have to remember such an unhappy thing? Liang Jinxiao sighed and persuaded Zhao Yun'er. The more Liang Jinxiao refused to say, the more Zhao Yun'er wanted to know what was going on. She begged Liang Jinxiao, Mother, just tell me. I feel very sad if you don't tell me. Hey, Yun, girl, don't ask anymore. It's good like this now. Chapter 1833. After hearing Zhao Yun'er's words, Liang Jinxiao agreed. If she didn't tell Zhao Yun'er, Zhao Yun could ask someone else later. Liang Jinxiao was afraid that when Zhao Yun'er asked, the person who told Zhao Yun would say something unpleasant. After Zhao Yun'er knew, she was afraid that Zhao Yun'er's heart would be even more uncomfortable. After thinking for a while, Liang Jinxiao decided to tell Zhao Yun the truth. Sighing slightly, Liang Jinxiao seemed to be recalling something from a long time ago. Yun-er, this Tian Wenhan actually had a marriage contract with you. If you didn't have that incident and didn't give birth to Daodu, I reckon you would have already married Tian Wenhan and become his wife. Zhao Yun had imagined many possibilities in her heart, but she really didn't expect that she and Tian Wenhan were in such a relationship. That was to say, Tian Wenhan was actually her fiancé before? Since he was such an important person, why couldn't she remember anything about Tian Wenhan? The more Zhao Yun thought about it, the more confused she became. She continued to ask Liang Jinxiao, Mom, what's going on? Why can't I remember this person? Liang Jinxiao continued to sigh. He looked at Zhao Yun with a distressed expression and said, Well, it's all because of the Tian family. After you caused that incident, the Tian family said that you were indecent and didn't know how to behave yourself. The arranged marriage was directly ruined. Wenhan didn't say anything about it. However, he's a scholar and is filial to his parents. Since his parents broke off the arranged marriage, he didn't dare to disobey. After that, you stopped contacting each other. After Liang Jinxiao's explanation, Zhao Yun'er finally understood. A few years ago, the original owner of the body was originally engaged to Tian Wenhan. However, the original owner of the body got pregnant before marriage. After such a big incident, no man in modern times would easily accept her, let alone the ancient people. Later, the Tian family broke off the arranged marriage, and Tian Wenhan and Zhao Yun'er stopped contacting each other. Zhao Yun'er guessed that the original owner of the body liked Tian Wenhan very much. According to Liang Jinxiao, the original owner of the body cried all day long when the arranged marriage was broken off. In addition, she was malnourished, and the child in her belly almost died. Then suddenly one day, the original owner of the body inexplicably recovered, but she didn't seem to remember Tian Wenhan at all. Zhao Yun'er guessed that the original owner of the body was extremely sad, and finally chose to lose her memory. She deleted all the memories about Tian Wenhan from her mind. After hearing this, Zhao Yun couldn't calm down. Wasn't it too ridiculous? For such a long time, no one mentioned this in front of her. Old Zhao's family probably felt that it was too embarrassing, so they didn't talk about it. When others criticized her, they only knew how to use her premarital pregnancy as an excuse. After Liang Jinxiao finished speaking, he observed Zhao Yun'er's reaction. She was afraid that Zhao Yun would know the situation and think of what had happened before. The painful days in the past were over. There was no need to think about it. Seeing that Zhao Yun was lost in thought but didn't look sad, Liang Jinxiao breathed a sigh of relief. Yun, it's probably like this. No matter what, you and that child Wenhan don't have anything to do with each other anymore. Don't be sad over other people's matters. Liang Jinxiao softly said. Chapter 1834. Liang Jinxiao's worries were swept away by Zhao Yun's words. He couldn't help but smile and agree, yes, no matter how good Tian Wenhan is, he can't be better than Prince Shizhi. After all, Prince Shizhi's status is beyond the reach of ordinary people. After you marry Prince Shizhi, you'll be the official wife of Prince Shizhi. It's better than being a peasant woman in the countryside. Daodu is Prince Shizhi's biological son, and Prince Shizhi loves him very much. If the Tian family had accepted you back then, Daodu wouldn't be a descendant of the Tian family. Those people wouldn't treat him as their own. Liang Jinxiao was very clear that an outsider's child wouldn't be welcomed. Zhao Yun was secretly happy that Tian Wenhan didn't marry her back then. Although she had just met Tian Wenhan's character was quite good. He also had the temperament of a scholar. According to Tian Wenhan's appearance and qualifications, there weren't many men better than Tian Wenhan in the surrounding villages. However, Zhao Yun was very clear that just because she thought he was good, it didn't mean that she liked him. If she lived with someone she didn't love for the rest of her life, it would be a torture for her. On the contrary, if she lived with Mu Lianfeng, she was glad that she could meet the person she loved in this life. Mother, you're right. Don't worry, I'm just asking out of curiosity today. I won't think too much. In the future, I'll live a good life with Prince Shizhi. Zhao Yun gave Liang Jinxiao a reassurance. Good. Liang Jinxiao said with a smile. The mother and daughter cooked together. Because it was all leftovers, they poured it into the pot and heated it up in a short time. The wood was hot, and the aroma of rice came out of the pot in about 20 minutes. Zhao Yun was a little hungry after smelling the aroma. By the time lunch was ready, Zhao Wenhua had already returned from working in the fields. During this period of time, Zhao Wenhua was busy pumping water and weeding the paddy fields. If the grass in the paddy field was not removed in time, it would compete for nutrients with the rice grains, affecting the growth of the rice grains. It was also easy for insects to grow. As a result, Zhao Wenhua was covered in mud from head to toe. Even his face was covered in mud. He was filthy. Zhao Yun'er hurriedly fetched a basin of clean water and let Zhao Wenhua wipe her upper body first so that she could eat. As for the lower part of the body, he didn't wash it. He still had to go out in the afternoon to continue his work. Come, let's eat. Liang Jinxiao placed the dishes on the table and invited the family to eat. This time, Mu Lianfeng brought Mo Yen back to eat with him. Probably because the food on the mountain was too bad, Mo Yen ate very happily. She gobbled up 5 or 6 bowls of rice in one go and ate quite a lot of vegetables. Her stomach was surprisingly big. Zhao Yun'er did not feel bad about her family's food. Instead, she hoped that Mo Yen could eat more. The leftovers would not go bad in the simple fridge, but it was not good to leave them for too long. It was best to eat less leftovers from last night. In the 21st century, many people would throw them away if they could not finish them. In ancient times, many people did not have enough to eat. How could they be willing to throw them away? Mu Lianfeng saw Zhao Yun'er staring at Mo Yen. He thought that Zhao Yun'er disliked Mo Yen for eating too much, so he snorted gently and hinted at Mo Yen. Mo Yen ate happily and did not hear Mu Lianfeng's hint. Mu Lianfeng saw that Mo Yen did not realize it and could not help but ask, Mo Yen, have you not eaten for a few days? Why did you eat so much? Chapter 1835. Thinking about it, he really hadn't eaten well today. It was a hot day, so he didn't have much of an appetite to begin with. The food on the mountain was also cooked in a big pot, so it was really hard for Mo Yen to swallow. Now that he had gone to Zhao Yun'er's home and eaten the food from Zhao Yun'er's home, it was simply delicacies. It couldn't compare at all. After starving for a few days, he finally got to eat delicious food, so he couldn't help but eat a little more. The strange thing was that he knew he had eaten a lot, but he just didn't feel full. He wanted to continue stuffing food into his stomach. Looking at Mo Yan's innocent face, Mu Lianfeng took a deep breath. He hesitated whether to say what he wanted to say next. If he didn't say it, he felt that Mo Yan was still too ignorant. Mu Lianfeng was worried that Zhao Yun didn't cook enough for lunch. If Mo Yan ate so much, there wouldn't be enough for the others. However, Zhao Yun was also shy. She would definitely be too shy to say that to Mo Yan. After hesitating for a while, Mu Lianfeng decided to remind Mo Yan that she had come at the right time. He couldn't let Yun and his father-in-law's family starve. You've already eaten enough, Mu Lianfeng said leisurely. Mo Yan put down her hands in the bowl in a rather restless manner. She replied weakly, really? What do you think? It seems like I've eaten a lot. Mo Yan felt a little guilty. She replied embarrassedly, Yun's food is just too delicious, so, Mu Lianfeng replied unhappily, you don't seem like it. You've eaten a lot. How can your stomach hold up so much food? After Mu Lianfeng scolded her, Mo Yan still felt wronged. Master, look, I've lost a few kilograms recently. I need to eat properly to make up for it. I don't object to you eating, but you came to Yun's house today and ate so much food. She worked hard to grow some food in the fields, but you really don't know how to control yourself and eat so much. Mu Lianfeng was saying that Mo Yan was too thick-skinned. As the master, he was embarrassed to eat so much, but at least he should see if the others had enough food first. He couldn't just eat comfortably. Mo Yan was embarrassed by Mu Lianfeng's words. She hurriedly said, Master, it's my duty. When Zhao Yunlong heard this, he quickly waved his hand and said, Young master, don't be too polite. It's just a few meals. It's okay to eat more. How can I trouble you with the work in the field? Mo Yan insisted, Uncle, it's fine. You can order me around. I like being ordered around. Mu Lianfeng said leisurely, I'm just complaining that you can't do the work in the fields. You've never worked before. How much work can you do in the fields? Mo Yan scratched her head as if she was thinking. She nodded and said, Master, you're right. Since I can't do the work in the fields, why don't I just pay Yun for her food? Mu Lianfeng nodded, that's a good idea. You can use the money you pay to buy more food. Yun's family's food is not bad, so you can't pay too little for food. Mo Yan nodded heavily and said, Master, I know. I definitely won't pay too little. Chapter 1836. Zhao Yun watched silently from the side. She couldn't help but sympathize with Mo Yan for having such a master. Mo Yan was sparing no effort to set her up. Of course, Mu Lianfeng's motive was to collect more money for her. No one knew his wife better than her husband. Mu Lianfeng knew that she loved money very much. Zhao Yun didn't think that being greedy for money was a shameful thing. With money, one could do a lot of things. At least now, her family could live in a big house, and she didn't have to worry about food and clothing. She didn't have to live a tight life like before. Her life was very poor. Mo Yan searched for a while and took out one tael of silver. Although it's not much, it should be enough for food. Mo Yan smiled embarrassedly and handed it to Zhao Yun. Mo Yan hurriedly explained as if she was afraid that Mu Lianfeng would think it was too little. Master, I don't have much money. I have to save some for when I get married. Zhao Yun was amused by Mo Yan. She smiled and said to Mo Yan, You don't have to pay attention to your master. It's just a few meals. I can still provide them. Mo Yan asked in surprise and joy, Really, Miss Yun? I don't want to eat and drink for free. Of course. If you're hungry, you can eat more if you're not full. There's still a lot of rice in the pot. With Zhao Yun's words, Mo Yen couldn't resist the temptation of delicious food although she was embarrassed. After hesitating for a while, she began to eat happily. Seeing Mo Yen wolfing down the food, Zhao Yun smiled faintly. The next few days were trivial. She had already arranged for people to dig the well in the courtyard. The only thing that Zhao Yun was worried about was Tian Tian. She and Mu Lianfeng would walk around the mountain from time to time whenever they had time. They wanted to check on Tian Tian. In the end, she was still worried. If something happened to Tian Tian, she would feel bad. After searching for a few more days, one morning, Zhao Yun'er suddenly heard a baby crying. Zhao Yun'er, who was still in her dream, suddenly came back to her senses. She immediately got up from the bed and walked towards the door. As soon as he opened the door, he saw a child lying at the door. It was Tian Tian, who had been taken away by a tiger for a few days. She was still worried that she wouldn't be able to save Tian Tian. She didn't expect Tian Tian to come back on her own. The child wouldn't have walked back by himself. Zhao Yun speculated that the white tiger couple might have taken the initiative to send him back. Could it be that Tian Tian was too noisy, and the white tiger couple couldn't bear to see her, so they secretly sent her back? If that was the case, it seemed that animals were quite affectionate. Zhao Yun'er lowered her head and looked at the baby. It was crying very pitifully, and a trace of heartache flashed across her mind. This child had a hard life after all. She was abandoned as soon as she was born, and now she had experienced such a torment. It was lucky that she could survive. Zhao Yun'er hurriedly picked up the baby on the ground and coaxed Tian Tian, all right, don't cry. Aren't you back now? The baby was very sensible and immediately stopped making a fuss. There were tears in her eyes, but she smiled sweetly at Zhao Yun'er. It seemed that the girl was also very happy. Zhao Yun'er's heart softened. Seeing that the baby's clothes were dirty and still had the smell of the tiger, she prepared to boil some hot water to wash the baby well. Chapter 1837. Tian Tian is back. Zhao Yun replied. When Mu Lianfeng came closer, he saw Tian Tian in Zhao Yun'er's arms. Mu Lianfeng also liked this cute little doll from the bottom of his heart. He treated Tian Tian just like how he treated Daodu, and directly treated her as his own daughter. You're back. It's good that you're back. Mu Lianfeng murmured, and the stone in his heart was finally put down. Zhao Yun handed Tian Tian to Mu Lianfeng. You hold her, I'll go boil some hot water for her to take a bath. Okay. Mu Lianfeng didn't mind that the doll was a little dirty, and directly reached out to take it. Zhao Yun turned and went into the kitchen. A few pieces of wood were stuffed in the stove, and soon a pot of hot water was ready. Zhao Yun then went to find a set of doll clothes, mixed some hot water, and brought it into the house. She called Mu Lianfeng to carry Tian Tian over to take a bath. If it was an ordinary doll, it would definitely make a fuss when taking a bath, but Tian Tian was surprisingly obedient. She was very cooperative when she was placed in the water. In order to get rid of the odor on the doll, Zhao Yun got some soap to wipe the doll. First, she washed the doll's body, and then washed the doll's hair. After a while, the water in the basin became grayish-black. Zhao Yun hurriedly got a new basin of water and washed Tian Tian again. After it was washed clean, the baby's body exuded a fragrant scent. It smelled really good. She didn't know if it was because she and Mu Lianfeng made too much noise, but the other people in the house were awakened. They woke up earlier than usual, and so did Daodu. During the days when Tian Tian was away, the family had been worried. Now that Tian Tian was back, their hanging hearts were put to rest. Mother, little sister is back? Daodu smiled as he approached Zhao Yun'er. Yes, you're back. Zhao Yun'er lowered her body and placed the baby in front of Daodu. Seeing the baby in Zhao Yun'er's arms, Daodu couldn't help but smile. It was obvious that Daodu was very excited. Dao grinned as he approached Zhao Yuner. He reached out and touched Zhao Yuner's face. He even leaned over and kissed her. It turned out that her kissing technique was so bad that she left a pool of saliva on the baby's face. Zhao Yuner didn't know whether to laugh or cry. She glanced at Dao helplessly before wiping the saliva off Tiantian's face. Mother, little sister is finally back. I missed her so much. In the future, there will be someone to play with her. Zhao Yuner chuckled. Yes, but little sister needs to rest now. Daodu, can you come and play with little sister later? Daodu's eyes turned, and he looked at Tian in Zhao Yuner's arms with reluctance. He nodded and said, okay, then I'll wait until little sister wakes up before I come and play with her. Okay. Zhao Yuner smiled. Tian must have been tormented during this period. After all, no matter how intelligent a tiger was, it was still an animal. It couldn't be helped. It had to take care of a child like a human. Zhao Yuner fed Tian some goat milk. Tian probably felt much better after taking a bath. The baby fell asleep within a minute after being placed on the bed. Let's go out and prepare breakfast. Zhao Yuner called out. Daoda still looked at Tian with reluctance. He hesitated for a while before leaving the room with Zhao Yuner. Chapter 1838. In the countryside, it was very normal to raise a child bride. Many families gave birth to daughters, and if they didn't want them, they would directly give them to families who could support them. Basically, the people who took them in wanted to raise the baby girl and give her to their son as a daughter-in-law. Raising a child bride for a few years would cost some food, but it would save money on future betrothal gifts, so it was not a loss. After listening to Liang Jinxiao's words, Zhao Yuner smiled and said, it depends on Daodu. He likes her now, but that doesn't mean he will like her in the future. If he wants to marry Tian when he grows up, he has to ask Tian. If Tian doesn't want to marry him, he can't force her. Liang Jinxiao nodded and said, that's true. It's hard to say what will happen in the future. Daoda's sharp ears heard the conversation between Zhao Yuner and Liang Jinxiao. He raised his cute little face and said to Zhao Yuner, Mother, do you mean to let little sister be Daoda's wife when she grows up? Why, are you willing? Zhao Yuner teased. Yes, of course I'm willing. Little sister is so cute, Tian likes her very much. In the future, Daoda will marry little sister. Seeing Daodu say such words in a childish voice, Zhao Yuner was amused by Daodu. She smiled and said to Daodu, good, you're ambitious, but we'll talk about this when you grow up. Yes. After breakfast, Zhao Yuner washed all the clothes she changed out of at home. Now that Liang Jinxiao was pregnant, she didn't dare to let her cheap mother torment her. It was not worth it if the child in her belly was hurt. However, there were too many clothes changed out of in the summer. The clothes in ancient times were not like the clothes in modern times. Because they were made of coarse cloth, they were very thick and heavy. Zhao Yuner's thin and weak arms had some difficulty twisting them. Fortunately, Mu Lianfeng was in front of Zhao Yuner. Seeing that Zhao Yuner couldn't twist it anymore, he immediately went forward to help. If it weren't for Zhao Yuner stopping him, he probably would have snatched the remaining clothes in the basin. Yuner, your fourth aunt borrowed our family's bowl during the banquet and we haven't returned it to her yet. Mother will send it to her now, Liang Jinxiao greeted Zhao Yuner with the bowl in her hands. Zhao Yuner hurriedly snatched the bowl from Liang Jinxiao's hands. Mother, you rest. I'll deliver it. You've been busy the whole morning. You must be tired. Go ahead. It's not that far, and we'll be back in a while. It's not that tiring. Liang Jinxiao looked at Zhao Yuner with some heartache. Mother, the mountain road is not easy to walk on. You should move less if you can. Since it's not tiring, it's okay for me to go. Zhao Yuner said very firmly. Liang Jinxiao had no choice but to let Zhao Yuner go. She really couldn't do anything about Zhao Yun'er. With this daughter around, she was afraid that something would happen to her, so she didn't let her touch any of the work. Although she was pregnant, she wasn't that fragile. How could a woman from the countryside be so delicate? When she was pregnant, she had to work in the fields when she was 7 or 8 months old, but she didn't see anything happen to the child. Zhao Yun'er held the bowl in her hands and disappeared from the courtyard in a short while. Soon, she arrived at old Zhao's house. However, from far away, she heard the noise coming from old Zhao's house. Zhao Yun'er frowned. A family was so troublesome. Fortunately, her parents had moved out early. Otherwise, they would be annoyed to death by these people all day long. Chapter 1839. This Hu Chunhua was really troublesome. If she didn't make a fuss for a day, she probably wouldn't feel at ease. Zhao Yun was glad that she didn't meet such a mother-in-law. Being Hu Chunhua's daughter-in-law was really tiring. Thinking about how her mother was bullied miserably by this old woman, it was good that she was finally free now. Zhao Yun walked closer to old Zhao's house and heard what Hu Chunhua was scolding. It turned out that this old woman was scolding her own son, Zhao Wenshui. If she was scolding someone else, Zhao Yun might sympathize with her, but when she was scolding Zhao Wenshui, Zhao Yun felt that she deserved it. Zhao Wenshui was lazy by nature. He didn't look like a man at all. Hu Chunhua could only hear her scolding Zhao Wenshui, "You bastard, why did I give birth to you? Look at who else in the family is like you. You're already an adult, yet you still do such sneaky things. Don't you know how to be ashamed? Old Zhao's family is really unlucky to have a son like you. I really raised you for nothing. You still want to anger me to death even when you're old. If this spreads out, how can I face the villagers?" Zhao Yun walked into old Zhao's house and found that the other families had all come out and surrounded Hu Chunhua. They seemed to be trying to persuade Hu Chunhua. However, Hu Chunhua didn't listen to them at all. She was still scolding Zhao Wenshui. Zhao Wenshui stood in front of Hu Chunhua, trembling with fear. He lowered his head and looked a little scared. "Second brother, why are you still in a daze? Quickly apologize to mother." Zhao Wenshui hurriedly urged Zhao Wenshui. Zhao Wenshui walked up to Hu Chunhua and said weakly, "Mom. I'm sorry. It's my fault. I promise I won't do it again." Hu Chunhua snorted and said, "Would rather believe the nonsense of a ghost than believe your words. You can't change a dog's habit. If there is a first time, there will be a next time. Mother. I've already apologized. How can you say that to me?" Zhao Wenshui grumbled unhappily. After all, he was Hu Chunhua's biological son. How could she not let her own son go? Hu Chunhua was furious. Seeing that Zhao Wenshui dared to talk back to her, she picked up the broom on the ground and hit Zhao Wenshui. "You bastard, you still dare to talk back. Do you think it's okay to apologize? You're already an adult, yet you still learn to be sneaky. How can I not teach you a lesson?" The broom fell on Zhao Wenshui's body and made a loud sound. Zhao Wenshui was in pain from the beating and couldn't help but yell, "Mother, what are you doing? It hurts so much. How can you be so cruel?" As Hu Chunhua hit him, spittle flew out of her mouth. "You deserve to die from the pain. I should teach you a lesson. Otherwise, you will do it again." Zhao Wenshui's arm was hit and there were horizontal lines. It was obvious that Hu Chunhua didn't hold back. While Zhao Wenshui was beaten, Zhao Yun watched with great interest. Some people needed to be taught a lesson. Zhao Wenshui was thick-skinned and should be scratched whenever there was a chance. The other members of old Zhao's family were still trying to persuade him. Zhao Wentao took a step forward and pulled Hu Chunhua, saying, "Mother, second brother has had enough. Let's forget it. This time, second brother will definitely remember." Chapter 1840. Hu Chunhua glared at Zhao Wenshui. If he dares to do that again, I'll chop off his hands. Let's see if he still wants to live. Zhao Wenshui was so frightened by Hu Chunhua that he trembled and pursed his lips with an aggrieved expression. He was clearly a man, but he was behaving like a woman. Zhao Yun was almost disgusted by her second uncle. Zhao Yun walked over to Qian Zhonghu and asked, "Fourth aunt, what exactly happened? Why is grandma so angry at second uncle?" Hu Chunhua's sharp ears heard Zhao Yun's question. She spat on the ground and continued to scold, "It's all because of this good-for-nothing who did shameful things." Zhao Yun was dumbfounded. Didn't Hu Chunhua's words mean nothing? When Qian Zhonghu saw Zhao Yun's puzzled expression, she patiently explained what happened today to Zhao Yun. It turned out that Hu Chunhua wanted to nourish Zhao Xinhui's body and improve his diet. After all, there was nothing good to eat at home, so she caught a hen from the chicken coop and specially made soup for Zhao Xinhui. While the soup was still simmering in the pot, Hu Chunhua ran to wash the clothes. Zhao Wenshui probably smelled the fragrance of the chicken soup and couldn't control himself, so he secretly went to the kitchen to make a few bowls of chicken soup to drink. There was less soup in the pot. Zhao Wenshui was afraid that he would be discovered, so he forgot to add a few bowls of water to the pot. If he continued to simmer the soup like this, no one would notice. Who knew that Hu Chunhua would suddenly come back when he was adding water? She had forgotten to bring Locust to wash the clothes, so Hu Chunhua came back to get it. As a result, she encountered this scene. Hu Chunhua flew into a rage on the spot. She pointed at Zhao Wenshui's nose and scolded him. What followed was what Zhao Yun saw. After hearing this, Zhao Yun secretly sighed in her heart. What a weirdo. Zhao Wenshui was a man in his 40s. It was rare to see someone like him eating and stealing at such an age. Of course, Hu Chunhua was not a good person either. Other people loved their sons, but she cared for her daughter. No one knew what she was thinking. It was better in the past, but now, they couldn't wait to worship Zhao Xinhui as their ancestor. Chicken soup was very precious to the villagers. Zhao Wenshui was beaten so badly after drinking a few bowls of it. However, Hu Chunhua was not reluctant to give it to Zhao Xinhui. Grandmother, second uncle stole a few bowls and drank it. This punishment is too severe. Second uncle only drank some soup. He didn't touch the chicken at all. Why did you give it to little aunt? Zhao Yun said lightly. It seemed that she was speaking for Zhao Wenshui, but in fact, she was speaking for the other members of old Zhao's family. Hu Chunhua was obviously too biased. She left a big pot of chicken soup and chicken for Zhao Xinhui alone. Her son was scolded badly for drinking chicken soup. How could there be such a mother? When the other families heard Zhao Yun's words, how could they not understand? Their hearts turned cold. In fact, when they smelled the fragrance of the chicken soup, how could they not want to drink it? Now, looking at Hu Chunhua's attitude, it was obvious that if they were touched by the chicken soup, Hu Chunhua would fight with them. They had no choice. They couldn't have the idea of drinking chicken soup. However, they still felt unbalanced. Thinking about Zhao Xinhui, who was also Hu Chunhua's child, they couldn't be too biased, right? Chapter 1841. When Zhao Wenshui said this, he secretly glanced at Hu Chunhua. After seeing that Hu Chunhua didn't react much, he continued to mutter, "Mother, didn't I just drink a few bowls of chicken soup? That big pot of chicken soup and chicken meat, how can little sister drink it all alone? You're really biased. You only care about little sister and don't think about our other sons." Zhao Wenshui's words touched Zhao Wenshi and Zhao Wentao's hearts. However, they didn't dare to say this to Hu Chunhua. Now that they heard Zhao Wenshui say it directly, they nervously observed Hu Chunhua's reaction. They wanted to hear what Hu Chunhua had to say. Originally, they thought that Hu Chunhua would find her conscience and realize that she was too biased. Who knew that Hu Chunhua would start scolding Zhao Wenshui again? As she scolded, she spat on Zhao Wenshui's face. You're the most shameless among us brothers. Your skin is as thick as pig's skin. What do you mean by bias toward your little sister? Look at you. How can you compare with your little sister? She's now the mistress of a rich family. Your father and mother can live a good life now because of your little sister. Otherwise, you would have been starving. Hu Chunhua was telling the truth. Without Zhao Xinhui, Zhao Baoshan and Hu Chunhua wouldn't be able to live a rich life like now. However, she couldn't belittle the other branches like this. She spoke as if they were useless, which made them feel very uncomfortable. Zhao Wenshui was so scared that he quickly shut his mouth. Although he felt wronged, he didn't dare to continue speaking. He was afraid that Hu Chunhua would pick up the broom and continue to hit him. After scolding for a while, Hu Chunhua felt thirsty and turned to enter the room. After the other branches saw that nothing was wrong, they went back to their own business. However, the rich aroma of the chicken soup coming from the kitchen still made them swallow their saliva. Zhao Wenshui returned to his room resentfully. He felt that he had lost face. He was already an adult, but he was still scolded by Hu Chunhua in front of his children. Yun'er, why are you here? Qianzhua asked Zhao Yun'er with a smile. Zhao Yun'er then handed the bowl to Qianzhua. It's nothing, fourth aunt. I'm here to return these bowls for you. Qianzhua laughed, took it and brought it back to the kitchen. Now that old Zhao's family had split up, each branch built their own kitchen and cooked separately. As long as they were full, it was enough. Although the kitchen was simple, it was enough to make do with cooking. Zhao Yun'er thought about how old Zhao's family would cause all kinds of strange things when they lived together. Qianzhua said, Fourth aunt, why don't you and fourth uncle build a new house and move out? Qianzhua was slightly stunned when she heard this. Then, she shook her head and said, building a house is not easy. It costs a lot of money. Other things aside, getting a piece of land is difficult. Zhao Yun'er said, Fourth aunt, if you and fourth uncle want to build a new house, can I lend you some money? Qianzhua hurriedly refused. How can that do? It's so much money. It's okay, fourth aunt. Our family doesn't lack money now. Chapter 1842. Zhao Yun knew that Qianzhui didn't want to trouble her and didn't want to borrow money from her, so she was delaying it. Zhao Yun was very clear about Qianzhui and Zhao Wentao's personalities. They wouldn't change their minds if they insisted on it. Thinking about it, instead of directly borrowing money, why not lead them to become rich and earn money herself? When the time came, she would have a greater sense of accomplishment when she used the money she earned to build a house. Thus, she didn't continue to persuade Qianzhui. Zhao Yun'er's words just so happened to fall into Feng Zhangxia's ears. Feng Zhangxia eagerly scooted over to Zhao Yun'er and smiled fawningly at Zhao Yun'er. Yun, lass, you said that you don't lack money now, and you even have money to lend to your fourth uncle and fourth aunt to build a house. Can you lend me some too? Zhao Yun'er frowned and didn't say anything. She didn't know what this Feng Zhangxia was scheming again. Why was she always having ideas about other people? She couldn't change her habit of taking advantage of others. Zhao Yun didn't say anything. Feng Zhangxia was a little embarrassed, but she still thickened her skin and continued, Yun, lass, isn't your second cousin brother about to get married? When the time comes, it'll cost a lot. I don't have much money at home, so it's definitely not enough. I was thinking of borrowing some money from someone, but I can't find anyone. Since you have money, why don't you borrow some money for emergencies? Zhao Yun'er was a little speechless. She didn't believe that the first branch just happened to lack money. Feng Zhui was just thinking about her money, so she purposely said this. The reason why Feng Zhangxia wanted to borrow money, besides wanting to have more money for the wedding, was also because she had a small plan in mind. When she could borrow money from Zhao Yun'er, she would keep delaying and not return it. When Zhao Yun married the heir in the future, why would she care about the money she lent out? After a long time, when Zhao Yun forgot about it, she wouldn't have to return the money. Wouldn't that be equivalent to her earning the money she borrowed for free? Eldest aunt, your family is clearly the wealthiest. How could you lack money? Zhao Yun replied faintly. How could we not lack money? We just lack money a lot. Yun, lass, look at what you're saying, Zhao Yun chuckled and said. Eldest aunt, I'm willing to lend money to them because they can't find other families. But your family is different. Feng Zhangxia asked puzzledly, Yun, girl, tell me, what's the difference? Who can our family borrow money's family's family, eldest aunt's family's family, said Feng, Yun's family SS. They're considered a wealthy family in town. After being exposed by Zhao Yun, Feng Zhangxia felt a little embarrassed. She continued to reply weakly, that's different. How could I have the nerve to ask for money from my in-laws? Isn't it like a poor relative coming to ask for money? Eldest aunt, I really can't bring myself to do that. Zhao Yun snorted coldly in her heart. She was clearly so thick-skinned, but she said that she couldn't bring herself to do that. She was convinced. Eldest aunt, you're too embarrassed to ask for money from my in-laws. How could you have the nerve to ask for money from me? In any case, I'm a junior. Usually, it's the elders who lend money to the juniors. I've never heard of a junior lending money to an elder. Chapter 1843. Xian Hongzhui couldn't stand it anymore and said to Feng Zhangxia, eldest sister-in-law, you're wrong. As elders, we naturally have to try our best not to trouble the younger generation. If we can avoid borrowing money, then don't. Feng Zhangxia's expression didn't look too good as she said, fourth sister-in-law, you really know how to make sarcastic remarks. If your family doesn't build a house and doesn't get a wife, then of course you can't spend money. My family's Jianghu is about to get married, and we're worried that we don't have money to spend. When the time comes and the wedding isn't held in a dignified manner, it's inevitable that the in-laws will complain. Our whole family can only borrow money from Yun. There's no other close person we can borrow money from. Zhao Yun sneered and retorted, eldest aunt, you must be joking. How can there be no one closer than me? You can borrow money from grandfather and grandmother. You can also borrow from youngest aunt. They have more money than me. It's still possible to borrow some money casually, right? After Zhao Yun finished speaking, the corner of Feng Zhangxia's mouth twitched. If he wanted to borrow money from Hua Chunhua and Zhao Baoshan, then forget it. Hua Chunhua was a miser. It wasn't easy to get money from her. Even if he could borrow it, it would be useless. According to Hua Chunhua's personality, she would never forget the money she lent. He reckoned that when his family was a little richer, Hua Chunhua would follow behind him and ask for money. If he didn't get any benefits, why should he go through the trouble and cause trouble? As for Zhao Xinhui, after being reminded by Zhao Yun, Feng Zhangxia felt that she could indeed give it a try. If she borrowed money from Zhao Xinhui, she probably wouldn't need to return it in the future. Even so, she couldn't fall into Zhao Yun's hands. If she could get more benefits, wouldn't she be a fool if she didn't take it? Yun, don't you know your grandmother's personality? She's a stingy person. How can I borrow money from her? I'd better not go and ask for a rebuff. Zhao Yun rolled her eyes and continued, since that's the case, there's still one more person we can borrow. Who is it? Feng Zhangxia blinked her eyes and asked. She couldn't think of anyone else to borrow money from, so how did Zhao Yun know? Cousin-in-law. Zhao Yun said with a smile, if I remember correctly, when eldest cousin-in-law married into our old Zhao's family, she brought a generous dowry. Grandma didn't ask for the dowry. Usually, eldest cousin-in-law doesn't have any expenses in our old Zhao's family, so it must be there. Now that eldest aunt's family was in urgent need of money, as a daughter-in-law, she had to take out some money to meet the emergency, right? If worst comes to worst, eldest aunt can return it to eldest cousin-in-law when she has more money in the future. After Zhao Yuner finished speaking, Feng Zhangxia's face immediately darkened. That little b** tch actually made her set her sights on Shen Panner. However, after Zhao Yuner said this, no matter how thick-skinned she was, she couldn't refute it. Qian Jui also agreed from the side, eldest sister-in-law, Yuner is right. Panner is your daughter-in-law. Since your family is in urgent need of money, it should be your daughter-in-law who reaches out to help first. How could it be your niece's turn? Feng Zhangxia choked, but she couldn't refute it. She could only weakly agree. Since she couldn't get any benefits from Zhao Yuner, it was most likely that she couldn't borrow money. Feng Zhangxia resentfully returned to her room. Zhao Yuner didn't stay in old Zhao's house for long and went back. After a few days, after discussing with young Master Zheng, the Zheng family and old Zhao's second branch began to arrange the marriage. Chapter 1844. It was Li Chuiying's first time marrying off his daughter. Naturally, he couldn't bear to part with her. His heart was filled with emotions. It wasn't easy for him to raise his daughter, but she would become someone else's family after marrying off. Fortunately, his daughter wasn't marrying into a poor family. Although she wasn't the legal wife, she was still considered a master. In the future, he wouldn't have to worry about food and drink. Parents hoped that their children would be able to live a good life in the future. Li Chuiying only hoped that Zhao Jing'er wouldn't be like her in the future, marrying a good-for-nothing man and suffering with him all day long. She even had to treat him like an ancestor. When they reached the town, Zhao Yuner and Li Chuiying first went to the meat stall and bought a lot of meat. They bought some chicken, duck, fish, and vegetables. Compared to meat dishes, vegetables were much cheaper. 1 copper coin or 2 copper coins per caddy. The total cost didn't exceed 100 copper coins. It wasn't easy for them to go out on the street. Zhao Yuner also bought a lot of meat. She bought a lot of meat back. Although they couldn't finish the meat, he planned to marinate some. When he wanted to eat it later, he could cut a little and fry it in the pot. It was still the busy season for farming. Every day, they worked hard outside. When they came back, their meals naturally had to be prepared. There had to be enough oil. Only when they ate a lot would they have the strength to work. Zhao Yuner originally planned to buy a pig's intestine to go with wine for her man. But when she arrived at the meat stall, she found that all the pig's intestines were gone. In the past, such a situation wouldn't have happened. People in ancient times found pigs' intestines to be too tasty. Very few people would buy pigs' intestines to eat. Not long ago, when Zhao Yuner went out to buy meat, no one asked about pigs' intestines. They were sold out every day. Why was there no money left this time? Zhao Yuner asked the stall owner, "Boss, why don't your meat stalls have pigs' intestines?" The stall owner smiled and explained to Zhao Yuner, "It's like this. All the pig offal in our stalls has been ordered by one person. We can just send the pig offal we bring over to her. We might not even be able to sell it all ourselves. Besides, it stinks, so it's really troublesome." After listening to the stall owner's explanation, Zhao Yuner frowned and asked curiously, "Boss, who is it? Who took it?" The stall owner did not hide anything and said to Zhao Yuner, "It's a snack stall that's been popular in Yang City for the past few days. They're amazing. Even the pig offal they buy can be made into delicious food. Many people in Yang City go to the stalls to buy it. I bought some before and tried it. It's really delicious." In this day and age, there was actually someone like her who could make pig offal delicious. This made Zhao Yuner want to know who it was. "Boss, where's the stall you were talking about?" Zhao Yuner asked casually. The stall owner pointed in the direction for Zhao Yuner. Zhao Yuner realized that the direction and location of the stall resembled Zhao Ping's breakfast stall. Although she was a little puzzled, Zhao Yuner still decided to take a look first. Thus, after buying the food, she walked in the direction pointed out by the stall owner with Li Chuiying. After getting there, Zhao Yuner confirmed that the beach really belonged to Zhao Ping, At this moment, Zhao Ping, Qin Yuan, and Ma Xiaofeng were all busy. Because business was good, they were so busy that they could not stop. From a distance, Zhao Yuner could smell the fragrance in the air. It was the familiar smell of stir-fried pig offal. Chapter 1845. Speaking of which, this stall's pig offal is really delicious. I've been thinking about the taste ever since I bought it last time. I took some time today to buy some more so that I can have a good meal when I get back. It's so hot these days that everything I eat every day is tasteless. However, pig offal goes really well with rice. Buy a caddy and you can have a good meal when you get back. Isn't that so? The taste is really good. I bought it too. It's a pity that I only bought a caddy last time. Everyone fought to eat it when I got back. I didn't even get to eat a few pieces. This time, I'll definitely buy a few more caddies to eat my fill. It's a pity that the price is a little too expensive. A caddy of pig offal costs 20 copper coins. It's more expensive than a caddy of pork. Someone sighed at the delicious taste and felt that the price was too high. After all, there were only a few rich people. Most people wouldn't be willing to eat pig offal at such a high price. The cost of pig offal is only 1 copper coin per caddy. They've shrunk it a little. The cost of a caddy of pig offal is estimated to be 4 or 5 copper coins. Now that they're selling it for 20 copper coins, how much can they earn? You can't calculate it like that. We're spending money to buy something we like. Instead of comparing the price with meat, why don't we buy meat to eat? The main thing is that they can make pig offal into a delicious dish. If we know how to make it, we can earn this money. Besides, cleaning pig offal isn't a simple job. They're selling it for 20 copper coins, so it's worth that price. They can't possibly sell it to us at a normal price, right? Didn't you see that shop open to make money? Yes, that makes sense. Actually, 20 copper coins per caddy is enough for a big bowl and a good meal. If we take 20 copper coins to an ordinary restaurant in Jianghu City, it's not even enough to buy a vegetarian dish. No matter what, after they've processed it, we can eat comfortably and eat something with a strong taste, right? This is a transaction. No one forced us to buy it or not. It's all voluntary. If we want to eat it, we have to pay 20 copper coins. Anyway, I like to eat it. It's not easy to find a dish that goes well with rice on such a hot day. After the pig offal is stir-fried, it's spicy. It's very tasty even drinking it with wine. Otherwise, the stall's business wouldn't be so good. Everyone, hurry up and buy it. There's only so much for a day. If you're late, you won't be able to buy it. Zhao Yuner stood behind these people. When she heard these people say that a caddy of pig's offal was sold for a high price of 20 copper coins, she couldn't help but sigh at how much money this slut earned. A caddy of pig offal, excluding the cost, would earn him at least 15 copper coins. Based on the current level of popularity, it was estimated that they would be able to sell tens to hundreds of kilograms. In this way, he could earn at least 500 copper coins a day. If he sold more, he would probably earn more. At this rate, even if she didn't sell breakfast like before, Zhao Ping could still make a fortune on her own. If Zhao Ping really relied on her own ability to make money, then forget about it. But if she remembered correctly, Zhao Ping should have seen the way she used to make pig offal, so she learned from her and made pig offal to sell. In order to confirm whether her guess was true, Zhao Yuner decided to go over and take a look to see what kind of pig offal was made. "Miss, what are you doing? Why are you cutting the queue?" Someone complained to Zhao Yuner in dissatisfaction, afraid that Zhao Yuner would cut in front and buy pig offal without waiting. Chapter 1846. It's no use looking at it. Do you think you can figure out how it's done just by looking? Zhao Yun didn't know what to say. Why were some people so unfriendly? Can't I even take a look? Su Xiaxia's lips twitched. No, no. You have to wait in line if you want to see it. Anyway, you're not allowed to cut in line. The people behind were also afraid that Zhao Yun would cut in line, so they chimed in, you can't cut in line. You have to wait in line. Zhao Yun had no choice but to follow the line. Looking at the long line, there were indeed a lot of people buying. Some people not only bought a caddy, but also several caddies. Before long, the sound of closing came from Zhao Ping's stall. It's sold out. If you want to eat it, come back tomorrow. It's sold out today. It's sold out? Those who had yet to buy anything in the line said regretfully, it's sold out after waiting in line for so long. Gosh. My wife is pregnant and can't eat anything else. She's waiting for some pig offal to go with her meal. This is great. Sigh. Brother, I also couldn't buy anything after waiting for so long. Let's come back tomorrow. Sigh, we have to line up earlier tomorrow. Otherwise, we won't be able to buy anything like today. That's right. Come earlier tomorrow then. We were delayed by something today. Let's go, let's go. Those who didn't buy anything left with regrets. They all looked disappointed and sad that they didn't get to buy pig offal. Zhao Ping, Qin Yuan, and Ma Xiaofeng sat down by the stall and counted the copper coins they earned today. After counting, they found that they had earned a total of 1,286 copper coins. After splitting it evenly, each of them would get more than 400 copper coins, which wasn't a small amount in the countryside. They could earn several taels of silver in a month. That was to say, they could buy an acre of land with this money. Even if the villagers worked hard for a year, they wouldn't be able to earn so much. The three of them couldn't hide the smiles on their faces at the sight of so much money. Zhao Ping held the copper coins in her hand and pinched them. She grinned and said, I like the feeling of holding onto these copper coins. It's so good to be rich. Isn't it good to be rich? You can eat whatever you want. Ma Xiaofeng chimed in from behind. Qin Yuan was even happier than Zhao Ping and Ma Xiaofeng. He couldn't wait to earn some money and prove that he was no longer the poor boy he used to be. Qin Yuan said, if this goes on, won't we all become rich in a year or two? That's right, we're rich. In a year, we'll probably have hundreds of taels in our hands. With so much money, you can definitely be considered a wealthy family in the village. When the time comes, we can also build big houses. Life will be much better in the future. As the three of them talked, they counted the money and prepared to divide it into 3 portions. Each of them received 400 copper coins. The rest of the money was kept as capital. After all, buying pig offal, oil, and salt all required money. Qin Yuan sighed and said, it's just that the amount of pig offal we buy every day is too little. If we can buy more, we can sell more. Zhao Ping replied, that's right, big brother Yuan. But the pig offal nearby that can be sent to us has already been sent over. The other places are too far away, so we can't buy it. Chapter 1847. As Ma Xiaofeng spoke, she reached out her hands and sniffed them. Soon after, she made a gesture of wanting to vomit. I can't smell it. Once I smell it, I feel like I can't keep my hands anymore. Ma Xiaofeng sighed. If this continues and we continue to wash pig offal for a while, won't we be able to smell this smell from far away? Then there's nothing we can do. Xiao Feng, your hands smell, and so do mine. Zhao Ping said as she brought her hands in front of Ma Xiaofeng. Ma Xiaofeng smelled a strong stench of pig offal. Ma Xiaofeng couldn't help but frown. She asked Zhao Ping, Sister Ping, don't you wash your hands properly every time you wash pig offal? Of course I wash it. I use clean water to scrub it several times, but the smell just can't get rid of it. I can't do anything about it. Zhao Ping muttered. Sister Ping, you can't scrub it with clean water. You have to scrub it with soap. Smell it. The smell on my hands is much fainter than yours. Zhao Ping leaned over and sniffed it. She found that the smell was indeed much fainter. I think so. Xiao Feng, your hands don't seem to stink as much. They still stink. It's so tiring to wash so much every day. It's so tiring. If we sell too much, we won't be able to get rid of it. If it wasn't for my mother helping me every day, I'd probably only be able to wash a little. Qin Yuan rolled his eyes and said, if we can buy more pig offal back, we don't have to do it ourselves. We can hire someone to wash the pig offal for us and pay him a salary a day. Isn't that enough? I don't believe that no one in the village would want to do it for a salary of 30 to 40 copper coins. After being reminded by Qin Yuan, Zhao Ping and Ma Xiaofeng felt that he was right. Washing pig offal was such a hard and tiring job that they didn't have to do it themselves. Who knew how many women in the village would be willing to do it for 30 copper coins? After all, it was not easy to earn 30 copper coins in the village. Even if a man went to work in the town, he might not even be able to earn 30 copper coins after a day of hard work. Big Brother Yuan, we don't have to wash our own pig offal in the future. Just find someone to wash it for us. Sigh, my hands are smelly from washing. I feel like vomiting just by smelling it. Qin Yuan rolled her eyes at Zhao Ping. You're just trying to slack off. Why are you talking so much? Zhao Ping grumbled, feeling wronged. Big Brother Yuan. Why are you like this? I'm busy here and there every day. It's really tiring. All right. If you want to hire someone to wash your hands, then hire someone to wash them. Your hands are really smelly and disgusting. Qin Yuan frowned in disgust. After all, he still had to live with Zhao Ping. When he got close to Zhao Ping, he could smell the smell. It was indeed a little unpleasant. If he hired someone, at least Zhao Ping wouldn't have to smell him in the future. This was also good. Zhao Ping saw Qin Yuan's actions, but she thought that Qin Yuan was feeling sorry for her. She revealed a blissful expression and said to Qin Yuan, Big Brother Yuan, you're the best. Zhao Ping didn't mind saying that. She was embarrassed in front of others. She leaned her head on Qin Yuan's shoulder with a loving look. When Ma Xiaofeng saw this, she ridiculed Zhao Ping in her heart. She was a lady after all. There was no need to show off her love in public. Chapter 1848. Zhao Ping was indifferent. Instead, she giggled and said, Big Brother Yuan, little Feng is one of us. It doesn't matter. Besides, we're husband and wife. So what if we're a little intimate? What's there to be embarrassed about? Qin Yuan was a little speechless, but he was still very disgusted with Zhao Ping. Don't rub your head against my shoulder. It's so heavy. Qin Yuan said as he reached out and pushed Zhao Ping's head away. Zhao Ping looked at Qin Yuan aggrievedly. Big Brother Yuan. How can you be like this? Qin Yuan rolled his eyes. What about me? Who do you think you are? Zhao Ping saw that Qin Yuan was really about to get angry, so she responded weakly and did not continue to make a fuss. All right then, the new stall's business is pretty good. The few people who were originally happy suddenly heard a familiar voice and looked in the direction of the voice. The person they saw was Zhao Yun. The few of them were stunned, as if they did not expect Zhao Yun to come over. You. What are you doing here? Zhao Ping asked with a hostile voice, as if she did not welcome Zhao Yun coming over. Zhao Yun chuckled. What's wrong, big sister Ping? Can't I come over? Zhao Yun don't think that I don't know that you're definitely up to no good by coming here. Zhao Ping replied angrily. Zhao Yun rolled her eyes. Which eye of yours saw that I'm up to no good? No one can compare to you when it comes to imagination. Zhao Ping pursed her lips. Zhao Yun then what good can you come here for? Zhao Yun sneered. I just happened to pass by your stall. I didn't expect that you guys could come back from the dead without selling breakfast. So what? Why can't we come back from the dead? Zhao Yun who do you think you are? Without you, could it be that our stall can't continue? Luckily you stopped working with us. Now, we're earning much more than selling breakfast in the past. Zhao Ping raised her chin, showing off. Zhao Yun snorted and said, Big Sister Ping, you're wrong. If I didn't guess wrong, the pig's offal that you're selling now, you guys learned from me. Zhao Yun Zhao Yun You want to get more money from me? Let me tell you, there's no way. Ma Xiaofeng was also worried that Zhao Yun wanted to get a share of the money this time, so she said, Big Sister Yun this business was started by Big Sister Ping and me. It's very hard for us to make pigs offal. Don't think about our hard-earned money. After all, you're rich too. You don't have to take a fancy to our money, right? Zhao Yun was almost disgusted by these two women. They made it sound like she was greedy for money. You guys think too much. I don't intend to take a share of your money. Zhao Yun replied faintly. Zhao Ping still stared at Zhao Yun vigilantly. She felt that Zhao Yun shouldn't be so kind. Why did Zhao Yun suddenly appear in front of her for free? However, you guys didn't ask for my permission and use my recipe to make pigs offal for profit. This really makes me unhappy. Zhao Yun sneered. You're tuning into the Biyao's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.